2018 of the Township of Washington Township Council. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Township Clerk to at least 2 newspapers on February 21st, 2018, and this notice has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board and on the Township website. Please notify the municipal clerk for any disability requirements necessary for attendance at mayor and council meetings. The fire exits are located through the double doors to your right and through the door on your left. Please silence all cell phones. Could everybody please stand for a salute to the flag?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Ms. Quinn.
Councilman Bruno?
Here.
Councilman Cassio?
Here.
Councilman Cumming?
Here.
Councilman Ullman?
Here.
Council President DeSena?
Here. Motion to open the meeting to the public?
So moved. Second.
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Cassio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Would anybody like to address the council? Seeing nobody here, can I get a motion to close?
So moved. Second.
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Cassio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes. Individual resolutions. Resolution 18-163, approval of the maintenance bond from Mike Fitzpatrick and Sons, Inc. for 2017 road program and authorized release of retainage. Can I get a motion?
Second.
So why did we hold this last week?
We were waiting, Mrs. Grow was supposed to talk to the township engineer, which she did. I guess I'll let you explain.
Okay, actually, the documents were all in hand, I just obviously wasn't at the meeting to be able to share, answer your questions. The township engineer, in connection with his review and approval of the second change order, which the council approved a couple meetings ago, had written a letter and signed off on the work under the contract as being 100% complete and recommending release of the retainage upon submission of a maintenance bond for the 20%, subject to the authorization of council. I had then confirmed the dates in the maintenance bond and the date of acceptance, the date of the contract. Actually, there was an initial bond submitted to me where the dates were inaccurate. I had them changed, verified the amount as 20%, ran it by the town attorney. He said it was in good form, and that's how it came. So it's all been approved by all the necessary players.
And the road cracks the resident was talking about is on the former Crossroads contract that we need to have reviewed, correct?
Not Crossroads, DNL.
I'm sorry.
DNL paving did 2016
So those
and
are the cracks the residents had
2015.
brought up that need to be addressed?
Those have been addressed, and they will be re-addressed, re-raised,
Okay.
and they're still under the maintenance bond. As far as I know, there was some minimal damage to tack coating and things like that were all handled in the course of the contract. And in fact, the way some of them were treated were, somebody blew out a tire, that was covered, they paid for that. Other things we did as a deduction from the final pay. So, but there's nothing as far as the quality of the road paving.
Okay.
Who will be inspecting that other contract?
So the DNL issues that the resident brought up with the cracks and stuff, will the engineer go back out and look at those to make sure?
Yes, I will have to bring them up with him.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
So,
you.
Mr. Cummings, does that
Thank
answer
you.
your question?
Thank you very much.
Resolution 18-163.
Time
Can we have
out
the
1
roll?
second, please.
Oh,
I just lost something for a brief second. Okay, sorry about that. Yes. So now I have to do a roll call on that.
yes, please.
Councilman Bruno?
Yes.
Councilman Cassio?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Sorry, Council President DeSena?
Yes. Resolution 18-167, a budget transfer for DCRP. Ms. Grow, can you just tell us what that is?
Do you want to move it first?
Second.
Okay,
you.
this was just necessitated by virtue of the fact that we had expended all the budgeted funds for DCRP, and in fact had a prior transfer. This is caused by the fact that many of the new hires are now in the DCRP program and were at replacing people in the pension. Eventually, you will see a decrease in your pension funding, but you're also seeing an uptick in your DCRP. This was a late enrollment that the Trenton held up for a little bit. So once we do this, we're done with 2017 funding of DCRP.
It's only $198.80.
Yes.
This is a defined contribution plan?
This is a defined contribution retirement plan. It's the alternative to people who make more than $5,000 a year and that work over a certain amount of hours, or if you're an administrator.
So you're in.
Okay.
Yes, I'm in that as well.
Okay,
Roll call?
Councilman Bruno?
yes.
Councilman Casio?
Yes.
Councilman Cumming?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman?
Yes.
Council President DeSena?
Yes.
Thank you.
We'd like to welcome Danny and Bill for the 2018 budget for the DMF budgeting.
Why don't you make a motion to go into the budget too, so.
We need a motion.
Well, might as
No,
well.
we don't need a motion.
No?
No. We're going to proceed with the budget, the DMF. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you.
I guess we'll flip to the page. What page are we on?
On the original, I'm on
35.
page 35.
Well, you know, are you working off the original just because some items did change in the mayor's revised budget? It's up to you.
I thought it was just some of the police stuff.
No, anything we haven't gotten to yet. I mean, the 4 or 5 changes, I don't even remember where they are now, but no, it's not just police.
You have the changes? I mean, I have the changes, but I didn't,
I mean, we'll catch them as we go through, so,
All right, I can flag them.
yeah, I have it. too.
Well, my page 35.
No, you're in your actuals, Michael. You're not in the budget part of it. You have to go in one section before.
Yes, you're right.
I made a lot of notes on everything, so.
You're right.
okay. So as long
Okay.
as you tell us where we're at, that's fine.
Yep, 35, DMF salaries and wages. Permanent employee, not superintendent, 80126-290-110. We have 6 current, assuming movement on steps on anniversary. New hire with CDL starts on, and a laborer start. We requested by the mayor was $385,000. $385,000 was recommended.
Well, just so you know, I had told some of the departments not to input their salary and wage, especially when it was susceptible to a calculation by administration, so I did calculations. So when, I guess it's a little bit misleading to suggest that that was requested. That was not requested. These requested salary items were put in by me.
Okay.
And then the recommendation was the mayor's recommendation.
Okay, I was just concerned that the 348 number and the 2 new hires don't add up.
Well, it wasn't
Or-
contemplating both, it was one or the other, I believe.
One new hire.
One new hire, not both. It was just to show you the contractual rates.
Oh, so we're only going to hire 1 new person?
At the moment, yes.
Okay. The way it was written, I thought
Yeah,
it was 2.
and it's actually, there's a little room in there, but.
Yes, there'll still be, but if you hire both, you're
yeah,
over.
you-
You're over.
Yeah,
CDL is the driver, right?
Commercial drivers.
And when you say a laborer is just a helper?
It would actually be a full-time position,
Yeah.
benefits and everything else,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't require a CDL, so wouldn't be able to use all the equipment.
So do we need the CDL
We're
or,
looking for a CDL.
so the laborer is really off the table then?
No, see, we originally put the laborer in the contract for when we had a full staff of CDL drivers.
Okay.
And laborers would be a lower rate, but also full-time to assist with snow cleaning and whatnot. That's why we put that in original.
So we advertising?
we have an ad that ran February something, it was on the latest tracker. Resumes have come in. I'm leaving it up to these 2 gentlemen to identify who they might
So
want.
we do have candidates that
Yeah.
are,
Yeah, strangely enough, not as many as other years. I guess, like I was saying to you gentlemen earlier, the economy, I guess, is that good, you know, with unemployment, so.
and do the candidates all have CDLs or some of them do and some don't?
But it does stipulate in the contract that you have a certain amount of time to get a CDL if we decide to go that route.
The number that's reflected, and this is the number with a CDL, right, for 30?
Yes, and it's even a little bit higher.
Okay.
It would actually allow, if need be, to hire a laborer down the road if that was what was deemed to be necessary still.
So CDL and labor is
Yeah,
calculated.
yeah. Because actually, Bill right now is doing, laboring work on top of supervising, and ideally, he could pull back from some of that.
I'm okay with that number.
Okay.
Yeah, so would we
So is
pay for
everybody
this-
okay?
we pay for the CDL if they want to get a CDL?
We never have in the past, we've taken that out of our own pockets.
Just so you know, we have had no problem attracting CDLs, although you did say we did get fewer this time. We're getting CDLs with more experience, so we actually had advertised one way, just asking for a CDL, and we're finding that people are coming in would expect to be at the top of the pay scale, which is not what we're looking for, so we reran it and phrased it a laborer with a CDL, so these people applying knew that they were going to be doing laboring work.
Okay.
Because you do both, you don't just drive a truck if
Correct,
you're a
absolutely.
CDL operator.
Yeah, and
So-
we're getting people coming in for truck driving jobs.
Yeah, that's not what you want.
You're doing everything, so.
So is there a laborer that's not a CDL that we would technically like promote to a CDL and then hire a laborer?
Well, we had one of those that was hired in the beginning of 2016. He earned his CDL. He had his permit at the time when we hired him. He earned his CDL. He was not immediately elevated. He was eventually elevated,
It's
so,
about a year anniversary.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So we currently have somebody that could be elevated with the
No,
CDL?
not at the moment.
No, everybody has a CDL.
Okay, so currently we don't have that, okay. Everybody okay with 290-110?
Yeah.
Moving on to 290-120, 48 was requested, 48,000 was recommended. That includes a 6.8 average base increment from 2017 applied to 2017.
Do you understand that? So I took the actual OT that was incurred in 2017, and the average pay raise based on the new contract is 6.8% with the steps, and everybody, most of the guys are at the top of the steps, so they're just getting the 1.75%. But when you blend a blended rate, so the blended rate of the increase in the total salaries is 6.8%, so I applied that to the total overtime to get the number of close to $48,000.
So we should be covered.
Yeah.
Is everybody okay with 290-120?
Yeah, I just have a question, Bill. Generally, when the snowstorms come, how much overtime is involved in that? I know last time I spoke to you, September, October, you guys go out. If it's bad, you go out, you come back, you go out. So
It's all overdone from beginning to end.
it is. Okay.
So if it's only a couple hours, it's a couple hours, it's a couple days, it's a couple days.
So the biggest, if it's a snowstorm, that's most of your overtime? I mean, what is your overtime besides snow?
Snow,
Fields.
Saturday debris program,
Okay.
trees, sewer backups, but
Okay.
primarily snow.
Okay?
And leaf season also Saturdays.
Yeah, that's big.
So if we are contemplating adding a permanent, would we see a reduction in OT?
No. We're not large enough right now to have shift work or anything like that. Once we're here, everyone's here.
Okay.
Was this a person that we tried last year and never got? I forget.
No,
No.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Well, maybe near the end of the year.
I mean, we always had somebody on the.
Oh, near the end of the year, there were
Yeah,
applications.
and we decided to re-advertise to see if we can get a larger field, and we didn't really get many more.
And in case I forget, I received a resume today online. I said he had to do an application, but it was somebody for that position.
Is everybody okay with 290-120?
I am.
290-130, DMF secretary, increased to 25 hours per week in last week of January, raised to $15 per hour. Requested was 18,520, recommended was 18,520. How many hours does she work currently, Bill?
It's 20.
20, yeah.
The idea was to add, make it 5 days a week, but I don't know that, and we can't get into too much, but I don't think it's currently in place yet.
No.
It's been communicated that that's the wish, correct?
Yes, but there are issues at the moment, so.
So that's not a discussion list
Nope.
anyway, so we
It's a-
should hold that?
Can I flag that one?
Yep.
Okay. Contractual stipends not foreman, 10-425, 10-425 requested and recommended. Everybody okay with that?
It's contractual.
It's contractual, yes. I got to ask.
Well, so what happened last year, or what's happening this year, that we had the dip?
Previously, I was told to budget more than we actually needed.
So this is our actual cost?
I believe so. I don't have the
Or within-
contract in
within-
front of me,
Within,
but I
within
can
reason.
basically,
I'm talking about the actual.
The actual one was 13, 13, 10, 10, 8, and now we're back at 10.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, I think there was always, oh, we may have to have another crew chief, we may need to have another such and such, so,
The
but I
contract
think,
does allow for 3 crew chiefs.
but your staff isn't big enough to
No,
have
exactly.
3. So, yeah, that's what, so then I guess this year the reality was, why budget for something we know we don't need?
Okay,
You agree?
I agree, we're not large enough right now,
at the present time.
at the present time.
290-150, everybody okay with that?
No, 'cause I mean, unless I'm a
No,
little,
no.
unless I'm a little dense
Yeah,
here.
it wasn't, that was an actual cost, not an estimated cost.
Oh, you're saying the
The
8761?
The actuals in 13 were 14. In 14, they were 14. They dropped to 10. They went up a little 11, down to 9, and now up again. And I'm just asking,
Oh.
if these are contractual, what's the,
Why is it-
Okay, but the contractual, one of the gentlemen in your 3rd year of being a crew chief, you get a bump. So one of them
Okay.
went, elevated last year to the 2nd
Oh,
year.
that answers Mr.
And then the
Hallman's question.
2nd year, he's going into his
Does that
3rd
answer your
year,
question, Mr.
mid-year.
Hallman?
thank you.
So is everybody okay with 290-150?
Yes.
Yes.
Seasonal workers, 290-160. 67 was requested, 67 was recommended. Is that because of the change in hourly rate, Mary Ann, that we're
I
increasing
believe
it?
so, yes.
Because it's a huge bump, it's a,
Yes, because what we had last year was, as you see, the huge change in the actual from 2016 to 2017. Last year, we have, some of the staff was only making 14 till the very end and was bumped to 15 at the end, and he's one of our regular seasonal people, if there's such a thing. And we do have a couple that are on at an incoming start of $12 an hour, but I know there's been general consensus and the possibility that we may be forced to pay more. So I believe that's how that was factored in. I can go back if you want and figure out the 2017 hours for the seasonal. But my note is
it's
there.
a 10,000, it's almost a, $9,200 increase, so I'm just curious.
So does this contemplate any additional bodies, or currently you have 5?
We did have 5. The hours were different. One goes to college, so he's only 1 or 2 days a week. 3 were, because of the hours, 29 hours a week they were given. I don't know if it's going to stay the same or change, but they were 4 days a week. And then they got bumped up for a short time. Then we brought another one on for leaf season, because leaves, we could use the most help with during leaf season, so we have 5 total.
So Bill, is this increase in budget going to give you more days, more hours per each person, or?
I would have to
is that
speak
the
with
intent?
the mayor about the hours. That's how it was set up previously.
Could we get more information on that, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, sure.
On the, it's a huge jump, it's a
Bill
big
and I
jump.
talked about it.
Okay.
If you, I remember having a conversation back when, like, if you were to have, let's say, the leaf season, you have 5, 6 seasonals. If you had 10, it doesn't do anything, does it? Because you don't have the trucks to do it? Or it doesn't?
We need, about what we
I
had.
made up the number, but.
10, no, 10 we don't need.
My point is, if you add more, can they do something, or you just don't
They
have
can
the
always do
trucks?
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Actually, there is a time, if you see later in here, you'll see into it. We used to close the Tuesday debris yard program, and we rented a backhoe, and we were able to get 3 sanitation truck crews out in addition to the leaf guy. And then you also have the pushing crew for, consolidating the leaf. So that's something that, possibly we were
Okay,
thinking of.
I'm just curious.
So we'll hold on 290-160 until we get more information, gentlemen? Is that okay? Winter watch, 290-180, 6.8 average base pay increase from 2017 applied to the actual winter watch. 77.25 requested, 77.25 recommended. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, who is this that gets the winter watch again?
All full-time employees.
Oh, everybody's on it.
Everyone gets 2 weeks unless someone else wants to take someone else's. I didn't
Basically,
take any.
yeah, 16 hours times your overtime rate for the week you're on.
Okay.
Everybody okay with that? Superintendent, 290-190, assuming a raise, 74,554 requested, 74,554 recommended. Any discussion?
This is not contractual, right?
No,
Yeah, okay,
it's set by the salary ordinance.
right.
Does that include all the stipends?
No,
No, I also get the foreman stipend
Okay.
and CDL.
and CDL.
Were you the acting superintendent all of last year?
Yes, acting, yeah.
No, I think April 1 was your anniversary date noted here.
Well, I was officially superintendent, but according to websites or whatever, it was acting since.
Well, Tom Clossy was here.
Yeah, that was a strange,
Yeah,
Physically,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, Bill was running the show without the title for a while there.
So I guess my question is, the number for 17 actual to 18 proposed is a significant jump. Is that increase a real increase, or is that just?
Adding the months you were not
Are we
doing.
just catching up here?
it's a catch-up.
Well, last year,
Yeah, the salary ordinance was what, it's a 70+.
Okay.
But he didn't get it because he wasn't.
yeah, it was 73,588.
Okay, so then that answers Mr. Ullman's question,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
That
everybody
was the
okay with
salary.
290-190?
Yes.
All right, moving on. Foreman stipend, 290-191, 4,100 was budgeted, was requested, excuse me. 4,100 was recommended.
Contractual, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody okay?
We owe you 8 cents.
Moving on to sick leave payout, 290-192.
That's per contract. Anybody who's accumulated over 180 days is entitled to be paid out up to 5 days back. And I calculated based on there's 2 employees that could potentially get it. And that's the number.
Which is yours, a 12 or the 2?
I'm assuming it's a typo.
2,000, oh, that other one is a typo, yes. It's
It should- okay.
2,682.84.
Miss, Mary Ann, could you check, because I've just been made aware that any employee hired after 2011 is not entitled in the PERS system to be paid sick payout. They can keep it to the $15,000 cap.
That's not exactly right. It's state employees. It's not, that's not right. If there's
It's only state employees that
Yes.
that's capped at? Okay. All right,
No.
somebody brought it up at a meeting we were at, and I said I'd have to ask you about it. Because they
state-
said that if you were hired after 2011, you could not sell your sick time back to the municipality because of the 2011 date.
What happened was the state, it was adopted for state employees, and it was strongly urged for local municipalities and counties.
Okay.
Some did, some didn't. You'll see in certain contracts, things were changed. In the police contract, in fact, they can't accrue after a certain amount. DMF has some
Okay, I
caps
just
on it,
wanted to
too.
make sure we were following
Yes,
the rules.
Yes.
Gentlemen, I have no problem with 290, 192. Anybody else?
And just so you know, I believe theirs is capped at 15,000.
Okay.
None of
We
the
have
administrative
reserve-
staff get any.
We reserve for this or no?
You do in the budget each year.
No, but this, on here, we don't have any reserve sitting on the,
No, you have terminal leave, which is it on payout. You have that, which is a different thing than the sick leave payout under your contract, because that's kind of like, it's a smaller nut.
okay?
So, it's 2,000,
Okay.
almost $3,000. And, in another year, one of the guys may not have it. It's one of those that you're not sure.
Okay.
I'm just seeing a jump from 27 to 12,000,
That was
But it's a
wrong.
typo.
That's a typo.
so it should be 12,700.
2682.
2682,
82, the requested was wrong. I
Take the-
input that incorrectly.
Take the 1 out.
Take the one off.
Gotcha, I added one on the other side.
So 290-192, the requested was $2,682.84, and recommended was $2,682.84. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Moving on, vacation buyback, 290-193. Mary Ann has calculated the maximum exposure, 10/9/13/47, 10/9/13/47 recommended. I was just curious why last year we didn't have any nobody took advantage of that? Is
Well,
that,
somebody actually did, it was processed in January, so it's not here, but one employee did do it.
Okay.
They usually, the younger guys don't get that much, they thankfully take it. I mean, the idea is they need to rest.
so should we, I was just curious why we went from 3,000 all the prior years to 10, 9, 13.
Because
It's a
no one
huge
ever
jump.
calculated based on actual. And I did. Yeah, I'm calculating your max exposure. You
Mm-hmm.
could reduce it. You definitely could reduce it. But that's a gamble
That's a
you can
huge
take.
jump, gentlemen. It's,
So max exposure meaning everybody that's entitled takes 100%?
Took 100.
Takes,
wants to sell 100% of their
no, it's not
vacation.
100%. I think it's 5 days. What
I
is it?
believe so.
5 days. It's capped at 5 days, and you don't know who's going to have it until the end of the year. So
Correct.
you figure, to be conservative, you figure out everybody's going to qualify for it.
It's just looking at the numbers from 2013 to 17, it seems like it's a very.
Oh, yeah, like you said, you could gamble, but it's nice sometimes to have little pockets of money when you're doing transfers now for DCRP or whatever have you, if you're cutting it if you're cutting it back. But that's definitely something you could do.
John, are you all right cutting it to
I would
past
bring-
years?
I would bring it down.
Yeah,
I don't think everyone's gonna take it, okay? Because in the past, if you look at the history, we only put 3,000 in. The greatest expenditure was 12, half of that.
Yeah.
I would say maybe go somewhere between 50 and 75% of that number.
So go 5,000, everybody okay with going to 5,000? Is that it?
Or maybe 6, I don't know, how do you feel?
How much?
6,000 as opposed to 10?
5?
I'm okay with 5. Are you okay with, you want to go 6, Mr. Cassio? We can go 6. I mean,
That's okay.
I just think going that much of a jump based on the prior history.
100% is gonna take 100%.
We try to use
Well,
vacation.
Historically, it's not supported at all.
No, not at all.
Everybody okay with changing 290-193 to 5,000?
Yes.
Yes, gentlemen? We on the consensus?
Yes,
Thank you.
please.
So we changed 290-193 to 5,000.
When do you take them, generally?
We're not contractually allowed to during leaves, but from leaves, from, say, the end of December through November, as long as there's no weather, no snow, hurricanes.
Not that cold in here.
Okay.
Moving on, everybody okay to move on? 290-194, Director, it's a requested and recommended, is the same amount.
We just take a step back. So, the leave, vacation, not during leave season, is that that's in the contract? And is there flexibility as the superintendent to extend that if it needs it? To
Well,
extend-
we're required to be here for adverse weather conditions, snow and such like that, so, I mean,
The contract provides if they request vacation, they're not allowed to do it because
there a
of the
period of time?
demands.
Are there
They can
dates?
carry it.
Are there dates?
There are dates in the contract. I don't remember off the top of my head. Bill probably knows better than I do, but
or,
They can't take vacation during leaf season, so is that like from this date to that date, or just?
there's no firm dates, we set them every year because the calendar changes.
Okay, so it's your option.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So 290-194, Director, it's 1250, requested 1250, recommended, everybody okay with that? C2 licensed operator, I guess this is an item we should delete, or are we, because we're moving
it
into
had to be,
expenses? Can we
it
do a
was
zero
add-
delete?
Zero, yeah, it was added to that line and then realized we have to pay it. It's an outside consultant, so it's not salary and wage, so it has to be under, in the other expenses.
So can we zero delete that item then?
Who was the acting director?
We didn't have one for a few years.
Is somebody planning in the department to sit for their C2 licensed operator class? Or is anybody interested in sitting for it, so we could keep that internally?
Well, that would be Keith Thury, no?
No, but he's looking to see if somebody in-house wants to do it to get a little extra.
They
so we
possibly
don't-
would. We had discussed earlier today, actually, that some gentlemen that, over there are curious about getting certifications and whatnot in various fields. So,
Can we look into that, Bill? It's
We
just,
look into that.
and it'd be a stipend that we would provide to them rather than giving it to an outside person? I know many municipalities in the area have a DPW person or the superintendent or whoever. I'm not asking you to do that, but if you'd like, something
Like I said,
to look at.
some of the gentlemen over there are interested in, learning opportunities.
I know they give a class every spring and every fall for it, so.
So what type of certifications or training would they be looking for?
Well, there's
Might want to maybe hold it up till we get to the training part of the line item, because that went up some also.
Okay.
Didn't mean to cut you off, but
All right, moving along, so we're going to zero delete 290-195 because it's been moved as an expense. 290-210, office supplies, 600 was requested, 500 was recommended. Last year you spent 100 and change, so we okay with this, gentlemen? Do we want to cut it?
My guess is that it was a tight budget spend in the prior years as to what you can and cannot, so I would assume that you probably are making up for lost time in that supply area, so.
Everybody okay with 500?
Yeah.
You,
So 290-210, we'll keep at 500. Moving along for postage, note charge to clean communities, so is that being moved, Mary Ann, or is that?
Yeah, that was just to show you that all of a sudden it's falling off, because in the past that was for the debris flyers, and that's a legitimate expense for clean communities.
So we're removing, so
So it's going into, yeah, but I
so
wouldn't
whatever
want it-
postage will just come up and use your postage machine, so he doesn't have a,
Yeah, he doesn't need this line, no, we're gonna charge it to a different
Correct,
line in the
yeah.
budget, yeah.
and whatever postage they do need to send out, we'll just use the postage
Yeah,
machine in
right.
another department. So 0 for 290-220, everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Subscription and books, is there anything we need that we were missing, Bill, that we,
No, actually, no.
so there's 0 there?
For the most part, they supply catalogs because they want your business,
Okay.
and et cetera, et cetera. And there are some that are free through the state, stormwater manuals and such like that, so.
Okay.
put it miscellaneous if you need it, whatever it is.
Dues, meetings, and conferences for Superintendent League Convention in November, $500 was requested, $500 was recommended, 290-250.
I'm okay with it. It's good.
Is that good? Moving along, travel and mileage, 290-280. I guess last year, why was that number so high?
Bill started classes, and when he was using his own vehicle, the plan is when a new vehicle comes in, he'll be afforded the opportunity to take a town vehicle to the class.
Okay.
Every other town does.
That's for
What-
your
so-
CPWM?
Yes.
And how long is that? How much longer do you have to complete that?
I believe into the fall.
Okay.
I only did one semester, so that's enough.
Okay. So 300 was requested, 300 was recommended. Everybody okay with 290, 280?
Is there a vehicle put into,
We're getting 3 new vehicles. One of them is a regular-sized truck, right?
no,
One's
a vehicle? I mean, this is something that Paul Mayor was trying to buy.
No,
No, we got
that
one
went
at the
for-
end of the year.
Did?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's, there's still at least a month out, what I called last week or so.
okay, so that's on, it's out there,
Mhm.
okay.
Office furniture and equipment, 200 was requested, 200 was recommended.
What'd you say on the other one? I'm sorry.
Mileage, travel and mileage, 300.
300.
Yes. 290-300, everybody okay with 200?
Yes.
So your lunchroom, you need anything in there?
The chairs, that are pretty bad.
I mean, we're gonna do a big bulk chair, that's for sure. I know when I went in there last time, it was,
Is there anything in that break room that needs to
the
be?
refrigerator
The whole
work?
room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think so. I mean, the guys have their own chairs, they're pretty happy with the chairs. I guess if you got new chairs, they would be ecstatic.
But we are gonna look at bulk chairs.
But for the most part, we have our basic needs in there.
Okay.
Okay. So can we make sure we add the bulk chairs to their lunchroom when we do the bulk chair order, Mr. Mayor? Is that okay?
Yep.
Everybody okay with 290, 300?
Yep.
Moving on to advertising, 290-310, 0 was asked for, 0 was recommended. Radio expense, 290-360 for 5 new radios at $10,000. I guess we got a quote for that, Mary Ann?
Yes, I think the actual came in a little bit less, right, Bill?
yeah.
Originally, we did this for budgeting purposes. We put a call in. Remember that day we were on speaker? What was the number? It's substantially less now.
So can we adjust it? Could we-
Yeah, I
can we
think
get that
Bill-
quote?
These are pegged to 2,000 each right now?
Yeah, right now, but Bill
Much,
has,
much less.
So let's adjust that if we know what it is.
Is 5 the most you need?
If we get vehicles, yeah.
Good what?
depending on the amount of vehicles we get, at the moment 3, but if we could potentially get 2 more, it comes out to $861.99 per radio, according with this company.
What was the total on that?
So 900.
So for the 3, we were just having for 3, because we're getting 3 vehicles at the moment, that came out to $25.85.
Is that cost installed or just the?
That's
actual-
installation.
So if you did 5, you could, 5,000 would cover it.
Yes.
Yes. Everybody okay with reducing 290
Cut it by 5,000?
Yeah, cut it by 5,000 based on the actual cost
Sounds
that Mr.
good.
Lawler received? Thank
And
you.
are these are the radios in the truck?
In the truck.
Does anyone carry a handheld?
We have portables for when we're working outside trucks, yes.
You do? And are those current? Do you have?
Yeah, but they're relatively new.
Okay.
So, you okay, Mr. Ullman, on that, reducing it to 5,000?
Yes, as long as there's no other,
Yeah, other radio needs, I guess, that was your question?
yes.
So we'll reduce 290-360 to 5,000. Training,
Sue or Marion, if it matters, do you change the requested and recommended to 5 also?
Do you want to do it that way?
Yes.
Then they don't have to motion.
Okay.
Okay,
The mayor's reducing it by 5,000? Is
Yeah.
that correct?
yeah.
Yes.
And I think based on the revised request by Bill, so Bill revised his request here on the fly.
all right. 290-370, 3,000 requested, 3,000 recommended for the certified public works manager classes. Is that what's remaining in that?
Well, we had a brief meeting today, just to review before tonight's meeting, and we'd like to both request and recommend that go to 5,500, because the training, the 3,000 was just for Bill's classes. Like the police, and like we were saying earlier, the guys would like to get training, and so we kind of used the same formula that we did for the police, 250 a body, rounding up to about 10 bodies to 2,500
Okay.
for training.
So, based on that recommendation from the mayor, we'll move to 290-370 to 5,500. Requested, 5,500 recommended. Is everybody okay with that?
So an increase of 25.
Yes, an increase of 2,500.
So, back to my earlier question. So, what type of training would a staff member typically be looking for?
Well, there are stormwater certificates, sewer certificates, field maintenance, which would come in handy, turf maintenance, which may come in handy, various things like that. We get them faxes in all the time from various schools and colleges.
Is everybody CPR, AED certified and first aid training?
Everyone except
certified?
me.
Okay.
I was on the road that day, so I wasn't available for that.
In the next couple weeks, Little League will be offering a class here in this room, right, in the room next door.
That's where we all did it last time.
So maybe you want to join us, and
Okay.
we'd have no problem you joining us, Mr. Lowe.
Thank you.
I don't think Mr. Stickle would mind. Thank you. So bump that up to 5,500. Moving, yeah, Danny can let you know. Sign expense 290-380, 3,500 for 89 missing signs not in prior year road programs, 3,000 for signs as needed, and 3,500 added by mayor for crosswalk signage, plus 10,000 for welcome to town signs and the like.
Well, this is one that changed in the reprint. The new numbers are requested 6,500 and recommended 6,500. And just the 2 notes stand, the 3,500 for the 89 missing and 3,000 for signs as needed, because we moved the rest of them into capital.
Okay, so the 3,500 and the 10,000 comes out.
Correct.
Mr. Lowe, we're going to make sure we're putting 6-inch signs up on the major.
They're up, yes. We're doing that as we speak. I don't know as we speak, but we're doing them.
Well, they're not up yet. I haven't seen any yet. So.
Quite a few are up. We've probably put up
89.
30 or 40. We haven't put
Of
them all.
6-inch sign, of 6-inch high signs?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I know they're focusing on Jackson, Hoover, this side of town for a little bit. Mountain they focused on. So as they go through it, they go through it.
Okay.
Michael, just so you will know, last year when it was brought to my attention, there were so many signs missing, I said, let's figure out how we can chip away at this. There was no money in the sign budget, and I had an idea, and I confirmed it with the bonding council that would be okay to do if we had repaved the road in the last.
Put it into the,
Put it into the road
contract,
program,
yes.
so that's what helped, we recently ordered them. And then it was even held up a little bit because we had done too much business with that vendor last year.
Yeah, we
but-
only recently started, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
you only got the signs, the crossbars last week, right? Yeah.
So, one of my sign discoveries last year was on Ridgewood Boulevard East,
Yes.
from Pascack to, whatever, the next one is Jackson. There's like a Watch for Children sign on the right side that's like rust.
There's quite a few
Are we
rust.
looking at those too?
There's quite a few rust and fade signs we would like to replace, but we would have to go through all of them and find out.
Have we-
what it was.
Have we,
Yeah, because I mean, that one I see every day. 'cause
There's
I
quite
go
a
that
few-
road,
there's
but
quite a
it's
few
It's
like
just horrible. I mean, it just,
There's quite a
Watch for
few.
Children, you can't even read it.
I think the bigger elephant in the room is all our stop signs, which are at the wrong height and mounted to street signs, which don't meet MUTCD standards.
We weren't aware of any standards.
I know.
This house,
We need to start looking at our stop signs also.
yes, stop signs on wherever. I brought that up with the road program of Mary Ann, and that was not.
Our stop signs, most of them are mounted at the wrong height and they're on the wrong pole. And we really need to start addressing those, so maybe in the future.
Brought that attention to the prior mayor.
Yes, I did bring it to,
years
I
ago.
did bring it to her
We
attention 2
all
years.
did, and she did put some signs up that said Ridgewood Road in Washington, which I thought was a little progressive signage, but we're getting there.
I think, does the police department have any say or involvement in stop sign? I would think traffic control, they.
Well, there's a lot, there's a lot of 50-year-old stop signs in town that are,
No,
don't have the reflective coating on it, and they've lived their useful life, and they probably stopped their useful life about 20 or 30 years ago, and we need to start replacing them
Well,
on top
I-
of the street signs.
Yeah, I'm
So I
ju-
think it's an important thing we should look into, and maybe, have the police department assist Mr. Lawler in getting, an inventory of the worst ones, because I know there's some in my neighborhood around the lake that are in very poor condition.
We had started last year, but we were limited by the 2-hour parking signs.
Okay, the amount of signs. But I think that's definitely something the police would want to have some say in, and usually.
We
do-
usually consult them.
Yeah, I'm not asking for new stop signs, I'm asking for the existing ones to be replaced, because they're in such poor shape. I mean,
Yeah.
you go down Lincoln at nighttime, you don't know their stop signs, because there's no reflective sheeting on them whatsoever.
I'm not suggesting they not get done, I'm just thinking of who's the best person to do it, and I think somebody in the police department in charge of traffic would be the best person to do it.
Okay.
So,
I mean,
I can talk
But
to
I think we physically need to budget somewhere for some real signs, a real capital investment from this council, because if you go, now that I bring it up and you go around town, you drive home tonight, you're gonna see that none of them, most towns, it reflects back at you, the stop sign, not ours, because
No, not
they're
most.
not at all. So we really need to make that capital investment at some point in time, so I'll move on,
What about
because
the reflective, when you're talking about the sign itself? Because if you go.
both the posts need to be replaced, the sign needs to be replaced. Typically, you run the red stripe down the
Yeah.
post with the
Hocus
reflective.
has that.
Yeah, all, it's,
So is that a new
it's
pole?
not a new thing. Yes,
No,
it's
but
a
is
new
that a new
pole.
pole?
Yes, it's a breakaway pole.
Yeah, that'd be
and-
breakaway.
So you
Yes.
have to put a new pole, not just a piece of.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's why I'm saying, most of ours are mounted to the street signs, which they
Okay.
shouldn't be, but they are.
Well, is there an appetite to increase the number then in light of what you just said, or?
I think you go out of capital. There's so many, I think we have to look at the ordinances.
Yeah.
There's so much that says town improvements from the year of the flood, and there's money there, so we'll
but
pull it out.
you have to be careful, when I talk to the bonding attorney, you have to be careful about what kind of signs you're doing. So you
Well, these are
can't,
stop signs we're talking about.
I know, but I don't know if it's gonna qualify, so I'll ask for his guidance on that.
Okay.
If not, you're gonna have to add it here. Some of the other pedestrian
Well,
crosswalks.
let's hold the sign expense then, if you don't mind, gentlemen, and we'll review it, and maybe Bill and the traffic officer can review the worst areas, maybe where we've had some incidents or something with stop signs, and get back to us a list, and we'll, I guess it's got to be we can't change every single stop sign in Washington Township this year,
We'll talk
so.
about the road program, we can roll that into the price of the road
Correct,
program.
absolutely.
Get sent down for quote.
So let's hold 290-380 till we have more information. 290-390, to be determined for 7 per week for 8 people all year, plus 4 per week for 4 people for 8 months. 3,700 was requested, 33,000 was recommended.
That was based on actual, right, Mary Ann?
I had asked
Council.
Patty to get some quotes, so I wasn't ever provided with those. I don't know how,
I don't know if she ever had another.
Who did the 3,700?
I believe that came from Bill.
But this has been an ongoing issue for a few years.
Yeah.
So what, Would 3,700 cover what we just said, Bill?
I would
or-
have to actually look at their rentals at the moment. I don't know offhand exactly what each employee is being charged, well, what the town is being charged for each employee.
So we'll hold 290, 390 till we get some more information? Is that okay?
What does the town provide in terms of their contract or contractor? What's the expectation?
Uniforms?
Yes.
We get 5 T-shirts, 5 pairs of pants, and then when we had first started with this company, we were able to mix and match sweatshirts, whether pullovers, zippers, and jackets. I mean, it was a mix and match situation. And the problem with that is there's only 5. So that's 5 days of work week. So we have to wash our own clothing and such because, you don't have anything, you can't put it in because you'll lose it for a week if you put it in and get cleaned by the company.
So, okay.
Contract also calls for boots, winter jackets, winter boots, which is provided. And we just put in for it, actually. We just got springtime boots.
Are we getting reflective shirts and stuff that beat?
We wear vests,
roadway-
or we go out and get our own reflective shirts if that's how you want to do it. Some of us.
Well, I'm saying can we get the reflective shirt? I know a lot of my DPW
go through
superintendents
them.
have gone and gotten the reflective
You
shirts for them as their daily shirts. This way, you don't need to wear the double vest in the summertime.
You
It
can.
keeps you cooler.
It's a personal preference. I prefer wearing a vest, as there was another gentleman. Some people do have the reflective shirts.
Okay. So can we get more information on that, and we'll determine what course of action we should take? Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah, should the allowance or the number be increased per
It seems that way.
The quantity?
staff?
Yes. Yes.
We were looking into that to get more of a turnover, so the guys don't have to wear it so many days before it gets
Yeah,
cleaned
what is
and
this?
like that.
You can't get them back.
So what do you
They're
want,
out for
7?
5 days.
One for each day,
Can't we
technically?
solve that with them?
Yes, that's what we're
If
I
we
would
go-
say minimum. I mean, you would think technically if you're going.
Is it the vendor that can't get them back fast enough, or if we went with a different vendor, they could get them back fast enough? Could we look at that?
I don't actually know. I'm going to say all vendors are like that. They come on a weekly basis.
Yeah, right.
And, you put your clothing in a bin and they come and take it away and they
Okay.
come back the next week.
No, I'm just looking for alternatives to help you guys out. If there's any way we could, if we need more,
If they can drop off 2 sets when they're here instead of
Yeah.
1, or, we spoke about that.
yeah, maybe an initial investment, because we got to buy 2 sets this year, but then it'll help us have them have better morale, because they're not having to deal with this issue, so.
So is this rental or is this cleaning or maintenance or, I don't know?
I believe it's rental and they clean. They do provide.
Okay, so it's part of, okay.
And can you have Patty do this? Because I'd asked her to make the
yeah.
calls. She's got the relationship with the vendor.
But Bill, everybody's shirt is marked as their own, right? It's not like it's not a,
Our blue uniforms have our names, but the T-shirts, the green shirts, they do not.
no, well, that's unacceptable. We need to
Yeah.
talk to the vendor. Everybody should have their own uniform.
The
as part-
sweatshirts,
They should also be
some
labeled.
have their names,
Okay.
some do.
Could we, I'd like to hold this and maybe you and I can discuss it later.
That's given to the citizens, who are you talking about? I don't know who's the.
Fine, so you
No, but I'm saying like,
Oh, I understand, yeah,
we have 600 people at work and
Sure.
everybody has their own, it's tagged with their name on the back, like
Yes.
it's their jacket and.
Yeah,
Well, they are tagged.
Absolutely.
They are tagged.
No, but I'm saying, but it's not, you may get somebody else's shirt, let's look into this.
So we'll flag it.
Some employees don't like that because
Yeah.
he didn't, you know who it is.
Yeah,
Other ones,
All right, so moving on.
Have it.
290-400, is for uniform and safety equipment. What kind of safety equipment are we looking at purchasing that we were,
That would be gloves, vest, eye
Ah.
protection, ear protection.
that's a no-brainer, I'm okay with it. Anybody else have any objection to that?
is that enough?
Is that enough?
I would think so. I'm actually talking with a representative from Lawson right now about setting up what we need for this coming year.
Okay,
So I'll know more, but I would think.
but that's, if you, and yes,
It's not related to you.
You want to find out?
I think it's enough,
I would probably put a little bit more in there.
unless they want more, but like, again,
It's been lacking for years, I know.
I'm waiting for the representative again.
so we're gonna hold uniforms, so you want us to hold that one until you get back more information? It's safer, I think, on everybody's part.
Okay.
Oxygen and fire extinguishers, $150 was requested. $350 was recommended for 290-410. Everybody okay with that? And I guess that's using last year's numbers, Marion, or Bill?
I think
Past
so.
few years' numbers, it's.
Bill, enough?
That should be enough. We have extinguishers in every
Okay.
vehicle. They're get
Okay.
serviced and looked at. So
Do you have oxygen in any of those vehicles?
we have no option.
No, but you get oxygen for the
Crack set,
welding.
yes, but we're gonna need more of that. We're trying to figure out what though.
All right, can we double that at 300?
Everybody okay with doubling that to
He needs
300 if he
more
needs more
oxygen for
oxygen for the welding machine?
Okay.
It's not cheap.
We'll make that 300. Is everybody okay with that?
I'm good with that, yes.
We have a few jobs we're looking at doing, which
Okay.
we have to.
So
assess.
290-410 will increase to $300.
Okay.
Facility maintenance and repairs, 290-420. 27 was requested, 27,000 was recommended.
This is one that we also met on today, so we'd like to increase both numbers to 30,000.
Because if we go with the runners are going to be a service where they come in, they put the runners in, they take them out, according to what we want them every
This is
2
for the
weeks.
police department upstairs
town,
and,
right.
Yes.
Cintas is one company I'm looking into where they could drop it off.
yeah,
and
well, they'll take the old ones
they
out.
take the old
yeah.
ones out, and it, depending on how often we want them to come, like in
So that's
winter,
the
I would want them
doors?
to come more than summertime.
Definitely.
Danny,
We
that's,
did that in retail when I was working.
that's all the doors and the hallways? in the-
Yeah, I've got Cintas I have calling me back tomorrow, and they'll come and do an estimate and take the sizes of the mats they need, and we can pick color.
And it's a weekly change, or?
It all depends on what we want.
Okay,
Like I was saying to Ms. Allman, that we
So-
could do it more in the winter
Okay.
than as opposed
yeah,
to
so you
summer.
could, but you could set the
Yes.
program up accordingly
Yes,
where,
yes.
so based on the mayor's change to 30,000, is everybody okay with that?
Yes.
So plus 3?
Plus 3, yes.
No, you're not adding 3.
Yeah, we're
Well, it's
adding
plus
3.
3, but there's no motion, correct? Yeah.
No, the mayor asked for an increase to
Right,
30,000.
Yeah, so you didn't have to make a motion.
Well, we'll follow. Janitorial services, oh no, excuse me. There's a note down here, elevator maintenance, annual elevator based on prior year experience. That goes to that building, that goes to facility maintenance, right? Correct.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was moved from somewhere else.
It was
Yeah.
moved from, it was moved
Okay.
from admin to DMF.
which makes sense. Janitorial supplies, 290-430. 2,500 was requested, 2,500 was recommended. Will this be affected, Danny, based on the new company, or it's still?
That we don't know yet.
We don't know yet,
We
okay.
just started getting estimates, so.
All right, so everybody okay with 2,500?
Yes, I'm fine.
So are these items that you use in the garage yourself for the staff, or
The John Drawers place?
Yes.
The whole complex, actually.
The whole complex.
It's,
It's too hot now?
It's the toilet tissue.
I don't know, what do you
paper
think?
towel,
I'm okay now, I
towels,
finally got everything cold.
The garbage bag.
Sit down.
These are more like
Mr.
expenses.
Cumming would like it long. She's
Yeah, I'm
Whatever
just
makes you
wondering though.
No, I'm good.
As opposed to
Oh, good.
cleaning,
I had a-
actually
like a
cleaning products
breeze.
that the outside vendors
Yeah,
use,
they'll use.
right?
They'll bring the supply.
Thank you.
No worries. Up, down, that's fine.
I mean,
Personal
So-
thermostats.
there was a question, or I don't know, who made the observation that our soap dispensers, we don't have refills for them, or, so,
I was in touch with all maintenance, the people that supply us, and they said they have, they offer you for free soap dispensers, paper towel dispensers, and what we would have to do is use only their supplies. We can't go out and buy our own supplies and use it in there. So once they give that to us for free, we have to continue using their service, their supplies.
and do,
And he's coming tomorrow to walk us the,
okay.
So you're gonna check every restroom at every facility all over town, like
Yeah.
Clark everywhere?
yeah.
Well, they make their money by selling supplies, so
Right,
they
so
make
they-
sure it's
that's why they
stocked
want to
every
make sure
week,
it's
you know?
free.
So we're gonna check the fire department, do we supply supplies to the ambulance corps, or no?
No.
Not the one.
Okay, okay, I just wanna make sure we check every facility that
Yeah.
has,
At the
Yeah.
moment, I believe the company that cleans the field houses in the park, they actually do supply the hand soap and such.
I don't think there is any, so that's why I wanted you to check,
You
yeah.
should bring them over there, too.
Yeah, oh yeah, I will. Yeah, I already told them, they said whatever
Okay.
time you need, you got.
Okay.
All right. Moving on to 290-450, facility maintenance, insurance, property damage deductible, $1,600 requested, $1,600 recommended.
That's if there's any property damage claims and we have an out-of-pocket. I'm actually not sure where the 1,600 came from, but I know in the past what happened was
That was last year's number.
people were misusing this account, and I
Which line are you
labeled it to make sure,
290-450.
I labeled it to make sure that people understood that was.
Yeah, how come it was so high last year, Mary?
It's page 78 in the actual.
It was, a lot of things were mischarged to it.
Oh, okay.
Well, we did actually receive a lot of money in for this claim for water damage over here, and then we spent it out. So I don't know if it was run through that account.
So is everybody okay keeping it last year, 2017's number of 1,600? That's the deductible?
It's kind of just to save, help yourself if you
With the
do have a
deductible.
claim, you're gonna have to pay the deductible somehow.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Printing, 290-40, it's been moved, 470 has been
So
moved to
let
clean
me
committee.
just go back to that for a second, I'm sorry. So if we have insurance claims and we don't meet the deductible and it costs us extra money to get it repaired, I mean, why isn't this in the admin insurance? And we do have an insurance reserve sitting on the balance sheet for insurance refunds, also for 40,000. Why are you looking at me like
On the balance sheet, okay.
In
That's
the cash
usually-
reserve.
Okay, that's the finance office. So if there's
Well,
something in
I
there.
don't care whose office it is, I'm just saying, there's an insurance cash reserve, insurance refunds, it's sitting on the balance sheet in someone's bank account, so there's $40,000 or so in it.
We're looking into the reserves, and by the way, on the mayor's request, Ashley identified that many of our reserves are dedicated by rider, meaning that you cannot, there's restrictions on how you can use them and touch them. I just received the information recently, so I think I'll work with her office to figure out what we can touch and what we can't touch. I was disappointed to know there was restrictions on a lot of it, so
And
we'll have
she's
to.
100% sure about that?
Yes,
Yeah,
their
something
thing
with the
documents were
state.
filed with the state, and when she gave it to me, it refers to a resolution done here, there were no dollar amounts, and I said, well, how do we know? And as I understand it from my limited conversation with her is, when you set up a reserve, you have to get permission to handle money outside of the budget process, so you have to get blessing from the state to handle it in such a way, and they allow you to open up a reserve and treat it as such, because they're sent public funds. So there are resolutions that some go back to, I think, 1985. So I was going to hand that over to Sue to see if all of our reserves are so restricted or not, identify the ones that are not restricted. We know the Republic Trust is not one of those dedicated by reserves, so we'll have to figure this out and work
I mean,
with.
I've been asking this for 2 years now,
I was shocked to hear
with
it.
all this money sitting there, all the ordinances that are sitting there, things have descriptions of, town improvements, I mean, it's just so generic, and I can't believe
Well, the
that
ordinances
some
are.
of these reserves on the balance sheet are restricted. I mean, I think they're just
Well-
money that they got and put it in a reserve.
Well, no, the other thing is, by its very nature, the word reserve suggests you're saving it for a dedicated purpose. That's why you have your terminal leave reserve, you have
Different
police
story.
outside
I get
billing.
that.
Some of that
Unemployment,
stuff
terminal leave,
is,
But this is insurance, it says insurance refunds. That's
well,
not,
I don't want to take up time here. I can ask Ashley to look into that.
I did, but we could ask her again. Okay, it's just, there's a lot of money there, and I don't want to use any taxpayer money when we have this stuff sitting there.
Of course. No, I mean, if you want to defund this, you can. We will just figure it out as we go.
No, you want to zero this out, Mr.
Which
Bruno?
one?
The 290-450?
We could take it out of the Republic.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense. This is, if we have a deductible, we're gonna pay $1,600. But what about deductibles, and what if something happens here, in this building? What if something happens to a vehicle?
That's what this is for. It's not for just the
So
DMF
so
building.
what is the, do you know the deductible?
It's 1,600.
Well, I'd have to
This is what she
double
put in.
check. I have to look.
1,600.
What's that?
It's not $1,600 deductible, that would be insane.
I'd have to look. I have to look.
Okay. So let us know.
What I wanted to make clear was, when I learned what people were charging to this, I renamed it, and I wanted everybody to understand that they're not supposed to touch this account, because things were being run through this account in the past. They were like, facility maintenance contra, I don't know what that is, let me charge to it. And I'm like, no, so I wanted to make it clear right now. So if you wanted to defund the account, you could, and we could, if there's an insurance deductible, put it against Republic, because we do have those monies.
Yeah, okay.
So everybody okay with zeroing this out, 290-450, and putting it through the Republic account if we had to?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All right, so we're going to zero this out then. Printing, 290-470 has been moved to Clean Communities, so it is zero. Everybody okay with that? Equipment purchases, 290-490, zero request for that.
We're moving that, that went to another line. I think there were
Okay.
too many equipment
Yeah.
purchases.
All right, DMF miscellaneous, 2017 includes 1,700 for the fence over the culvert.
So that's to explain the high amounts in the prior years. Again, things were charged to miscellaneous for lack of,
So what would we charge,
Trying.
Bill, what would get charged to miscellaneous? I'm just,
This is what I'd like to know myself.
Cable service,
Yeah.
monthly,
This-
drug testing,
Yeah, that's the thing, though. That's the thing, things have been changed.
flags.
Yeah, it's just being thrown, but this is what we put in last year, so it's a catch-all. Mike's reading them off.
That's what we figured it was.
I mean, cable service is $40 a month.
Cable service is big.
Drug testing is pretty big.
okay, so it has a value. It's just, I was just,
it's rather than set up a line for cable or drug testing.
absolutely, no, it makes sense, okay.
So,
So is everybody okay with the 1,500 requested and the 1,500 recommended for 290-500? Yes?
Yes.
I'd love to get you a service for $37. I mean, that's like 200 and, I don't know what.
Yeah.
Drainage repairs,
Oh, so, I'm sorry, can we, so on the, this was, we put the fence in here last year? The
It
culvert
was on
fence?
the
Where
one
was
side, by the library.
Yeah, so what
On the
about
other
the,
side, I don't think we ever,
No,
it was
it's-
never fixed, right, Mr. Mayor?
no, that's when it was, that was the fence that was fixed. This, the one over
Part of it.
by the library was done prior years. This was the one that was back and forth with the Lake Association. They wanted us to do it on their property.
Right.
And we conferred with the engineer, we conferred with the attorney, and everybody was mad at me because I said, we can't put use public monies to put a fence on private property. So that's where it came from, because there had been no money anywhere else. And I think finally, the mayor was telling Bill, you gotta do it, you gotta do it.
so when we look at the fence, we've got like 10 feet of nice fence and 20 feet on both sides, that looks like it's.
It's not us, that's the.
I know it's not us, but I'm just saying, so we just sit here and say it's not us, or we go to the Lake Association and say, you guys gotta put up a fence.
It's their property.
Huh?
Unless it's a code violation, we probably can't force them to fix it.
look
If it's
at
just
it.
cosmetic.
It's not cosmetic, it's ripped apart, I mean, it's broken, it's smashed.
It is?
Yeah, it's.
I think they were having some
You can take
money
a look
issues
at
without
it.
knowing, and that's why they were trying to get us to do it. But again, I could be wrong, and I'm gonna stop speaking.
can we have the property officer look at it? Could we just
Okay.
have him look at it, please?
Okay.
That'll stop that'll get us what we need and an answer, and then we'll decide from there. Drainage repairs, is that okay, Mr. Bruno, if we
Yeah,
send
that's
the
fine.
code officer out there and have him look at it?
Okay, yep.
290-580 drainage repairs. Have we inspected that culvert? I know there was some repairs done a few years ago on it.
We inspect them.
Our engineers going out and inspecting them, or?
The engineers, I do not know. We do a visual on our own, make sure things are flowing properly.
Well, I'm talking about the structural inspection of the culvert. There's a culvert there by the library, and there's another culvert up the street,
I don't believe in
the
it.
sheet pile culvert, that's up the street. I believe that's our culvert,
I
correct?
believe when one by the library is fixed, there's engineering involved. I do not know anything about the one further up the street.
All right, can we hold 290-580 with some input from Mr. Azalino on when the last time these culverts were inspected, and both culverts, there's two culverts on that street. There's one up the street with the corrugated metal one, which looks like it needs some TLC. So can we have him look at those and get maybe a,
So you
He'll
want
know
a
if I
second?
say the two culverts, there's only two?
there's only two on that street, yes.
On what street?
Woodfield.
Woodfield.
And, Marion, I'll take care of that because I'm seeing Paul tomorrow.
Okay.
Other equipment rental, backhoe rental during leaf season, 1,500. We used zero this year, but we're requesting 1,500 for
We-
2018.
It's been in there for years, and it's not always just for a backhoe, so to speak. It's also, say, we need a cement mixer if we're doing some kind of job like that, or we need to rent a piece of equipment for it, particular job that we're doing, that's a one-off job.
Okay.
Enough?
I think so.
Okay.
Everybody okay with 1,500 for 290-590? Tree removal, town property, we were averaging $900 per tree. We had requested 9,000 and recommended was 11,000. Is there any reason for the extra?
Just, I think there's plenty of trees that need
Yeah, so
removal, so I just
my
want
question on
to
this
put
one is-
1,000 in.
So by the culverts or whatever they're called, behind the shopping center, that whole section of, I mean, you guys walked that 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Are we gonna, can we do that?
As part of our meeting with the green team, Tom has someone from, I forget which
Forestry.
division, forestry, coming to inspect a lot of our trees, to check their health status, and then depending on what they find, they either put us in touch with grants or something to help defray the cost of removing bad trees.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff is all collapsed, though. This
Yeah,
is not
yeah.
even ready to fall, it's just all over
Yeah,
the property.
so I believe that's one of the areas they're going to look at.
So what do you say, gentlemen, 9 or 11? Or we meet in the middle at 10?
No, you probably need 30 as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned, but in all honesty.
It's an ongoing thing, Mr.
Yeah, I
Bruno.
think you put 11 in, I mean, it's just.
Everybody okay with 11,000 for 290-600?
I leave it at 9. So, I know there's a lot to do, but we're not all going to do it in 1 year. I don't think we're going to get,
Yeah, but if you get some outside service to come in and clean it up, I mean, that's what you need to do. They can't do it. This is.
Well, based on their average, we're gonna
This
get
is
10
beyond
trees, we're gonna get 10 or 12 trees done, so it's
But
not,
it's
not a
beyond
big.
their, this
Yeah,
is
I mean, I'm
beyond
hoping the
your,
green team will get some funding
Yeah,
also for
it
some.
depends on the tree and where it is.
all the stuff behind the shopping center, and that creek there.
By the library,
Clean
you're
the
saying?
brook. The large trees are beyond
Yeah,
us.
it's big, you can't do that. You gotta drag that out. Okay.
Yeah, it's gotta be winched out, that's a project. So, Mr. Cassio says 9, Mr. Bruno says leave it at 11,
I'm
what's,
good with 11.
it's okay. Well,
everybody okay with 11? Okay. So 290-600 will be 11,000.
And with the surveying and the green team, we'll know better where we're going next
We
week.
have a meeting set up with him, he'll be around soon.
290-620, hardware and paint, 1,500 was requested, 1,500 was recommended. We used $60 total last year, so,
That's obviously a catch-up thing.
Yeah,
we
We've been
actually do-
Lacking, if I remember correctly.
Our supplies, say, nuts and bolts and hardware and such are dwindling, so we'd
Okay.
like to restock.
is that okay, gentlemen, 1,500, 290-620?
I had 2,000 actually, going back to what it was, but 15's fine.
These 50 should be fine.
Road repairs, at $60 per ton for road repairs, 300 was requested, 3,000 was recommended.
It should say 3,000 and 3,000, I might have corrected that in my,
I said 3,000.
oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said 300.
No, 3,000. Everybody okay with that? Is that for coal patch? Bill?
Yeah, it's all, it's blacktop for roads, driveway.
DMF,
asphalt.
salt and brine, salt to be paid out of reserve.
Okay.
I'm thinking.
So speed it up.
Mr. Lawler, is the brine truck operational?
I don't believe so at the moment. I believe the spray bar is not working. We stopped using the brine a few years back.
Any reason we came up with this decision? Because I know the Village of Ridgewood likes to brine all their
Brine,
streets.
There were, well, this is.
I've heard, I've seen nothing but good things come out of brine. I know the DOT still brines all the highways, so I was wondering
There's a-
how the little township of Washington decided that brine was bad. And I was just,
Well, this was before me, but there were.
I'm not saying that.
There were questions about its actual effectiveness. It's only really effective for a half inch or so of snow. It's designed to keep the roads open a little bit longer until the crews can get out onto them.
Absolutely. It's economical because you can put it down the day before, not on
So I
overtime.
believe it was stopped because questions of how effective it really would be.
I personally would like to see the brine come back.
We can do brine.
I don't know what your fancy is, gentlemen,
Bill,
but
What do
Bill
you think would be
actually,
to fix that brine truck? How much?
How much would we need? Not much. It's a Home Depot stuff we can get.
Mike Coleman asked a question about this, and Bill responded in a very nice email, which you should get a copy of to read what he's saying.
I'm
No,
based.
I'm just saying, you should just look at what it is. so you have-
Okay, yeah, but I personally, as not as council president, as a township citizen, I hate when I drive up Ridgewood and Ridgewood stops at the border and ours isn't brined. And I know it works because when you go down the hill during a snowstorm, ours is all, before they get out there, you guys have done an excellent job. But theirs has no snow on it because the brine is working and ours isn't because we don't have any brine. I'm just curious who made the decision to,
Do you want more hardware and paint to fix that?
well, this is salt and brine
Yeah,
here.
there should be salt and brine.
Yeah, that's repairs. You're talking about repairs, right? Repairing the thing?
Well, I believe Bill said he could repair the brine truck with
I don't believe it takes much.
some basic.
No, okay.
No, I don't think it's gonna take very much. It's
So
just the spray bar.
We didn't want that.
That would come out of repairs, vehicle repairs.
So,
So do we have enough in vehicle repairs to fix that?
I believe so, yes.
I mean, that's just me talking, gentlemen. We need a consensus on it,
Again, we're the only one that doesn't do it. Westwood does it.
Westwood does it, Ridgewood does it, everybody else does it.
Hillsdale does it.
I just didn't understand why Washington Township couldn't do it.
We found that pre-salting was pretty effective, so we started using that, going up before.
Yeah, but the cost of salt is more expensive than the brine, so.
This is true, but we also get, the majority of ours we get from the county, so.
You can get it free.
Well, our county tax dollars are paying for it, so it's not free, but.
All right, so we'll look at the brine. Also.
and what is, we get a premix or we get a concentrate and it goes into the truck?
In the past, we were using a company out of Waldwick, and we would fill up the tank.
At
there.
CNM, we'd go to CNM and fill it, okay. All right.
Okay.
Can we just investigate that, gentlemen? I just would like to see it back.
I'll forward Bill's reply to
Okay.
my inquiry from earlier in the year. Let me just make a note.
I just think you guys have done an amazing job the last few snowstorms, and this would be more of an assistance, because we could do it the day before the storm or 2 days before the storm.
Yeah, no more than 48 hours.
Correct, yeah, so, but we could go, and it's not overtime, so it'd help you guys get ready for the storm, so you're not having to pre-salt. It just, I don't know, that's my feelings on it. I don't know what everybody else is.
I'm open to anything that helps us out.
It seems like everybody else likes to do it.
So, well, it's an effective tool.
Seems effective.
Do we go back up to the $3,000 number, or what do we want to investigate that, Bill, and get back to us? So what it would take to get the brine truck running again, or it's just a gamble because you don't know how many snowstorms there is and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'll get information.
I would say since we're hopefully most of the way through this season, that even 1,200 would be enough through December at this point, but if you want to flag it.
Well, this is for 2018, right? So
But we haven't done any this year is what I mean so
Yeah.
far, yeah.
why don't we flag it and get back, if Bill can get back to us on that, what the cost would be in vehicle
So
maintenance?
630?
Yeah, 640, excuse me, Mr. Bill. 290, 650, DMF requested 3,000, admin additional 2,500 for sewer operator, 2017 high due to Prospect Street work. 5,500 was requested, 5,500 was recommended. Has the money for the Prospect Street work been encumbered already, Mary Ann? For the
You mean
contractor?
The next work, yeah, it's been encumbered.
So that's already encumbered in 2017, so that,
Yes.
okay. Is everybody okay with 290, 650?
Yeah.
Now, this will keep the inspections going, the monthly.
Yeah, that's minimal, that's just us.
That's
Okay.
at 5,500.
Okay.
And it's a shared vehicle servicing for the jetting and everything.
Okay,
I mean,
so it's minimal cost.
yes.
Moving on to 290, 760, other equipment and supplies, 3,000 was requested, 3,000 was recommended. I guess this is for catch-up on getting your supplies back in order and your equipment.
Yeah, that could be, some could be
That's what I
that.
was thinking.
Is that okay?
Yeah, and that was also merging in something else that would, where we took out equipment purchases,
Okay.
just to get rid of the line item.
So 3,000 was requested, 3,000 was recommended. Everybody okay with 290, 760?
Where would we put in like, like beautification, like plants and flowers by the signs by Ridgewood across from Bakari? We got like one tulip there that died.
Parks, I believe. We
Huh?
haven't gotten to parks
Oh,
yet.
we didn't get there, okay. So this is 3,000? Okay.
Everybody okay with 3,000 for 290, 760? Yes?
Please.
Thank you. Street sweeping, 292,000. I had a problem with this. I think the 3 sweepings aren't adequate. Is that the actual cost, 13.5, or
That we did.
4,500 each.
what's that?
And 4,500 each, we tried to do 4, we budgeted for 4 one year, and it was just impossible to get it in. Bill can speak to that. Remember, we budgeted for 4, and it was just impossible to get
Yeah.
that 4th one in. The weather,
The weather, yeah.
So what are we doing, quarterly?
We do spring, summer, and well, we try to do it after leaf season in the fall, and that's weather dependent. You never know.
so right now, we just had one in the beginning of this year.
January, we had one in January, they're scheduled in December, but because of leaves and weather, they weren't able to get to it until January. And then usually we do it again in April or May, and usually again in August, September, and then the leaf season, after leaf season.
And we've reached out to a couple other towns just to get some other quotes on this, because we've been told that it's a little high, is what they think.
Yeah, actually, though, on that note, they don't, the other towns, when you pay for it, you pay less, but then you have to pay to dispose of it.
That's why we go with parameters, they just put it in there for cost.
Can we ask the county for the street sweeper that's available for lend, or we have nobody that's able to drive
We
it?
did, I talked to them about it, and that was the issue with the county. It was, where do we get rid of the
Disposal.
debris?
Yeah,
And it was at the time-
we have Waste Management bring us a low hazard waste container price, and we put it in there, and they'll take it away.
I don't know if it's low hazard, it's considered hazardous
No, it's low,
waste.
it's road salt, and it's considered a low hazard, so if we could look at that number,
I was curious about the county myself.
because we can get the county and do it maybe once a month and reduce this cost
We
and give
used
our
to-
residents more
We
value.
used to have a sweeper, so we do know how to operate one. It's just, we'd have to be trained on their machine.
Yeah, well, everybody borrows the county sweeper, I mean, it's out there
They
for
have
use.
numerous vehicles.
Correct, there's a whole bunch of, they have a bunch of sweepers we could borrow. So can we look into that, Mr. Mayor?
Of course.
So can we flag 292? I'd just like to see the street swept more often. And I may be crazy, but every other month would be, if we can get the counties and get on the schedule for every other month, I think that's what the residents are looking for.
I would agree. I mean,
Is that a valid, we don't, 3 times a year is just not enough. I personally sweep the front of my house myself.
We have enough manpower to manage for that type of,
We should, we usually find a way.
okay, I know you find a way, and I appreciate that, but I want to make sure that, other things don't go by the.
If we could research using the county sweeper on an every other monthly basis and talking to the other towns that borrow it, what they do with the waste. I know most of them stockpile it and then they call in a vendor to come take it away. And that's been my experience. But we
Okay, so
could,
we're gonna flag, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Bill, right now, when Paramus does it, do you know how long it takes them to cover the whole town?
Depends if they have problems with machines. This last time they had machine problems, issues, and I believe it was about 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. I average is probably about 2 weeks.
To cover the whole town?
Yeah.
It's a important quality of life issue on my end,
Okay.
you know.
how many miles of road do we have?
44, I believe.
You gotta do both sides, so yeah, so it's 88.
I figured that one out.
I'm talking, Mr. Allman, I didn't mean anything. I was
brightest
talking,
bulb,
no, I was talking,
Kind of
My
figured that.
calculator, Mike?
I had my head down, I was just talking to myself, I'm
I
sorry.
had it going on my calculator.
Recycling, solid waste recycling coordinator, 1,000 was requested, 1,000 was recommended for 305-100.
Who is that?
Who is that person?
Me right now. Bill is gonna, we've talked about having Bill take it
Eventually.
over eventually.
Okay.
I just want to finish one set of courses before taking another.
Curbside contractor fees, contract price flat from 2017, reduced by amount of recycling tonnage grant to be applied to contractor payments, 125, 269, 26.
Can we take a step back? So
Sure.
recycling coordinator, is that strictly administrative? I mean, so, Bill, I understand that you are, you're taking your coursework. Is there someone else in,
In the department? I'd say more than likely, yes.
I mean, so if it's coursework and a certification, like, to me, this is
I can ask around.
something that would be,
Well, it's just so you
It's paperwork.
It's paperwork, it's accumulating. I did it last year, I learned it last year. I'm going to a seminar tomorrow, literally, at the BCUA, because they revised the tonnage report, and it's time sensitive till April 30th. So to get somebody to be able to go to that
Mr.
course
Ullman,
tomorrow.
it's a lot of paperwork, and it's putting down numbers, so
And going after, making calls to follow up with people, where's your report with how much you recycle, who'd you use, I'll contact them, so on and so forth. I'm happy to hand it off to somebody, but it needed to get done last year, I did it, and this year I talked to Bill, was like kind of one of the logical people. But
I think in the
it is
future,
time to-
Mr. Lawler, or you, I mean, in most municipalities, it's either one of you.
Yeah.
It goes to that
Or
position.
is that something that Patty could do maybe as an administrative task if we want to get it away from Mary Ann, but not to you or something like that? Maybe something to think about.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you good with that, Mr. Ullman, or want to?
That's fine. Yeah.
So getting back to 305-210, it's a contract flat price, so it's the actual cost, right, Mary Ann? with
It's the
with
cost
grant?
less the recycling tonnage grant, which you can use to defray your costs for hauling. In the past, we were not allowed to use that for that
Right.
purpose, but it makes no sense, because otherwise it goes into a reserve.
Yes, that you can't use.
Is that you can't touch.
So went to reserve.
In the
Surplus?
past,
Yeah,
it somehow, it either goes to reserve or goes into surplus, I'm not exactly sure, but I wasn't allowed to touch it.
okay.
So we're doing the correct thing by doing this, is what most municipalities do. Everybody okay with it?
Yes.
Now, this is for grass pickup?
The next one.
And recycling, I'm sorry.
No, the
recycling.
first one
It
is the
was recycling.
curbside commingled paper.
Correct, okay.
And all that jazz.
305-220 leaf disposal fees, 175-200.
You have
Was-
to budget that amount, it's by contract. You're
Now-
required by law to budget what you contracted for.
Now, have we looked to tub grinding the leaves, Mr. Lawler, and reducing the amount of trucks leaving Sherryfield on,
No.
can we do some
The
research?
amount of leaves we have, I don't think it would be very effective. I mean, we have a lot of leaves in this town, and without them hauling it away, unless.
I'm not saying, no, it's still gonna get hauled away, but by tub grinding them, we're reducing the amount of voids
We would
within.
have to get a quote from the.
Correct.
From the company about what a tub grinder would cost.
But it may reduce it by, you may reduce the amount of trucks leaving Sherry, which would be a
Possible.
benefit on the streets.
Possible.
And so if we could do some research on that. I know I've talked to the former mayor about it, and I know Glen Rock and Ridgewood and other municipalities tub grind their leaves, because it gets rid of all the voids. You're making it into fines, and then you're loading the tandems up, and you're getting a lot less tandems
Using
leaving
the
the site.
space better in the
And you're
park.
losing the space better. We can control the parking a lot better also.
We would have to get quotes and see. what-
Yeah, it's not gonna happen over, yeah,
But
so.
I believe, this company, this contract runs through next year, I believe, correct?
Also, we're contractually obligated this year to, or if we
They-
sent out less trucks, would it save us
At
money?
least the 2019, I want to say it was a 3-year contract.
But I'm saying, if we sent out less trucks, Mary Ann, would we see a savings, or it's a?
Oh,
flat-
absolutely, we pay per cubic
Okay, so-
yard.
So just
We
the
pay
tax
per
goes
cubic
up.
yard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if we
Yeah.
tub grind it, we're reducing the amount of cubic yards going in each truck. Yeah, so if we could look into that. If you need any help,
It's just a matter of calling.
yeah. Brush disposal fees, 305-230.
Are we staying at 175, 200, what are we doing?
We're staying at 170, we're holding on that.
I
We're
think you
gonna.
have to, based on, Mary Ann, you said you have to bid the maximum or budget.
You have to, you're required by law to budget what you're obligated under a contract for.
We don't
Thank you.
spend it.
We don't have to spend it, right? But we're still
No,
gonna.
but
so
last year you spent every dime.
Right,
I-
it's a max.
Yeah, it's a max, but I'd like us to review it and have Mr. Lawler and Mr. Scuderi get back to us on what the options are and how much the cost would be to get the tub grinder, and see what our reduction could be, please. So is everybody okay with the contractual obligation of 305-220?
Yes.
Okay,
Same
Is that
explanation for the next two lines.
yep. Next two lines are both contractual obligations based on the maximum per contract for 305-230. Is everybody okay with that?
What's the yard debris disposal, line 305, 240? That's the,
That's the mixed brush, not the leaves,
Commingled.
like grass.
brush, branches, your curbside pickup.
Okay.
Okay.
Where is the household debris?
That is, you'll see it down below on BCOA disposal charges.
Okay.
So is everybody, so 305-240 is a contractual obligation of 23,842. Everybody okay with that? Recycling Green Team, 305-250. 2,000 was recommended, 2,000 was requested. They've spent zero to date, so are they planning something new, Mr. Mayor, that we don't know about?
Nothing's been done on the green team for years, and so it's restarting the whole program, and yes, it's already quite active, and so, yeah, that's why.
So what is that gonna, do we have an idea what that budget's gonna,
2,000.
What it's going to cover?
yeah.
What it's going to cover.
I mean, in 16 and 17, they had money and they spent zero, and years before that, when they were active, they've gotten zero, so I was just curious.
Green Team, Dan, you can jump in because you weren't on the meeting also, but it's mostly about educating the public, and then they have a point system that you go based on, and then the more points you get, the more grant money you can apply for recycling. And,
So we're talking about sustainable New Jersey points.
correct, yes. And
So they're gonna request that we join Sustainable New Jersey? Is that what the
Yes.
Green Team is?
yes.
So we'll have a presentation by them soon?
Yeah, and also, Marianne, I think you had mentioned to me that Green Team, we put some of this in 2000 also for some beautification that the Green Team had asked for, and then realized that we have to keep that spending somewhat separate because we have to allocate the Green Team funds. So some of this 2,000 might get transferred to a beautification, the Parks and Rec down the line.
Okay. Is everybody okay with 305-250?
Yes.
Please.
Can we just make sure the Green Team tries to shop locally for their plants and stuff?
Of course.
Maintenance supplies, 310-420, zero supplies requested this year because it's been moved to, I guess.
Yeah, we consolidated.
Yep. Cleaning service, 310-450, 28,140 requested, 28,140 recommended. That's based on 2345 per month. Is that the new quotes, Mr. Scuderi, or is that the old numbers?
I just started speaking to these people, so.
That's the quote, that was the
That's
quote
All
from,
Concept?
yes.
Okay.
Is this getting our buildings clean the way we discussed?
Yes.
And the police, that addresses the
Yes.
police department's concerns and
Yes.
everybody else's concerns in this building also?
So when can we make this change?
I'd like to do it March 1st. I
Okay.
have to give somebody notice. I
Can you
don't-
please have
there's
that
no
ready
contract.
then?
Well, I thought
I'm
Mr.,
waiting for that one.
Yeah, I would just, move if you're
I need that
comfortable.
phone number so I can get that second estimate, and
Okay.
then I can decide between the
All right,
two.
you and I will touch them about this tomorrow. Everybody okay with that? That gets us to a place where everybody's, the police department's clean, this building's clean, and
Can
all
we see
around
the
it.
contract when you get it?
Sure.
please? Thank you.
Now, that takes care of Sherry and Clark and all those buildings and the DMF and all that, or
He had it all.
fire
broken
department?
down.
But I'm saying he's gonna clean the fire department bathrooms and all that, or is that
no,
handled
that's not, it
separately?
was only town
It-
hall and police.
Police department, town hall,
What was that?
DMF or no?
no.
Who cleans that right now?
We do,
Why?
always have.
You know,
We could put it in, but.
I mean, originally, we had an on-staff janitor that was part of our department, so that was cleaned by him. And then when we went to the cleaning services, if we-
I apologize. I think this number should include
Everything.
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 Everything that's being cleaned right now by either I know there's a nighttime janitor crew that does like the fields and stuff, but I think this should encompass, if the rest of the council is okay with this, and hopefully the mayor will be on board with this, but this should include the fire department bathrooms, the DMF bathrooms and buildings, and any facilities that the town has to, we should not be cleaning our
Sure,
own.
any company that would like more
Yeah.
volume,
Yeah.
you get a better price. I would assume it's like anything else.
That's my personal, if everybody else please chime in and see if you
Please.
agree.
No,
I think-
absolutely.
Yeah, the fire department should be clean, we don't really do much with the ambulance corps, so.
And the DMF.
The DMF, they should not be cleaning their own building. The Clark Field bathrooms should be cleaned, because I know a lot of residents complain about them, all that. Please, right, Mr. Are you okay with that, Mr.
Oh,
Mayor?
of course, yeah.
Yeah, I think I got.
So we'll hold 310, 450 until we get revised numbers based on that
better do that.
I
request.
don't know if Dan wants to speak to him about that.
Yeah, I'll call him
Okay.
back tomorrow.
Okay.
They're gonna do quote on the
Yeah,
whole thing.
he just sent it to me today, so
I think there's no reason that they should be clean. No, I'm sorry.
And
I agree.
there were also some à la carte services that they were pricing out
Right,
also.
windows,
Yeah, window
as
cleaning
we-
to do
as
X
we
times a
need.
year,
Right.
as we decided, so.
that's set. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
this number,
Let's-
in light of that, needs to be.
Can we put together a breakdown, if it's okay, for
Yeah.
each of the different buildings?
Yeah.
And what the à la carte services is, then this way we could all sit down again, gentlemen, and we'll review it and come to a consensus and go from there. Is that okay, Mr. Mayor?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's good.
HVAC maintenance and repairs, 310, 460. 5,000 was requested, 5,000 was recommended. I guess that's just an estimate in case something happens. Is that correct? Right? Is everybody okay with that?
Is there a service contract
Yeah.
as part of that?
Contract.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a contract. Hold on a minute.
Oh, so that's a contractual
That is the
obligation?
No,
It's
maintenance is
Whalen and
only-
Ives and,
There's a
Well,
service
and then
contract,
others.
and then it's always plus parts usually.
So is this including, this is just a random, so does Whalen and Ives come in and replace all the filters? Because I know that's been or we do that ourselves, Bill?
No, they come in.
They do all the
We
filters and all?
have them come in with their service contract.
Okay. So the police department filters, this building's filters, wherever we have filters get
There
cleaned
was
up?
something in the police letter about.
Correct, that's why I was asking,
Why did that happen?
Well, I think,
is Whalen and Ives something new, or?
Yeah, I think I brought them on when I came on.
I believe they only do, they change the filters once when they do the service, so it's not ongoing.
So who replaces them, whether they're 60-day or 90 days? Do we have to do that ourselves, or
Assuming we should be.
Well, I didn't know how often it was recommended. I personally was shocked to hear, the chief recently said to me on a more frequent
Well,
basis
that came
than
up in
every
the
6
letter.
months.
Yeah, and that's not the recommend, I mean, it depends on what type of filter you put in there. You could put a
Yes.
30-day filter in there,
Yes.
put a 90-day filter in there, you could put a six-month
Yes.
filter in there. So can we have Whalen and Ives?
And the needs of the unit.
Yes, correct. Because I know that was part of the PBA letter, was that the filters weren't being replaced at the police department.
And they were replaced subsequently. I mean, they hadn't been replaced in ages.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know, Bill, where we
But
are
I think we
with
should
the
put this on
maintenance agreement.
this should be just like maintenance for, like the cleaning contract. We should figure out a way to get this done by people that are, you know.
Yeah.
In my experience, they recommend what they believe is necessary to maintain
So can we
the
talk to
system.
Whalen and Ives and see what we get
So-
We can
recommendations?
ask,
Yeah,
that's all we can do,
Okay, so
just get info.
we'll hold,
Buy the filters ourselves and have one of the DMF guys do it.
well, as long as we set up a
It's not
protocol.
that complicated.
No,
As
it's
long
not.
as
It's
It's
not.
every 2 months or
Yeah.
every 3 months,
As long as
whatever
it-
it needs.
It's like your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, we take care of our
Yeah.
filters.
You got a box downstairs
Yeah.
every month.
Bill, is that something you could look at to put on the schedule when you replace your filters, to do all the filters? If can we locate where there are filters and need to be replaced and do that?
I mean, we do our own filters, I don't know.
Okay, so now you don't have to clean the bathroom, so that's a good,
You're saving so much time. They got you.
Yeah.
yeah. We're trying.
Right.
So 5,000, okay with everybody for that?
Yeah.
And the DMF is going to look into putting a schedule together for replacing the
We'll
filters?
need an inventory of the
Yep.
filter sizes. We'll need to get a purchase rec out for the filters. And then they'll easy enough for them to put it on their schedule in between snow.
yeah. Well, actually, something recently came up with the filters, and I said, why can't we just buy these at Home Depot or wherever have you? And
Ours were, the ones for our heating system were,
there were some special orders.
off-size.
Yeah.
The Home Depot didn't carry the size.
Okay, well, like Mr. Cummings said, let's,
Everyone's online, any filter you
Everything's on
want,
Amazon.
you know?
yeah. Security system maintenance, is that a monthly contract? No, $0 for that, excuse me, for 310, 470, there's no, Did that get moved somewhere else, Mary Ann, security system maintenance?
There was no expense. The other one was just an outlay for a project
Okay,
in the prior year.
all right.
And I think there was some budget for it, but I don't know that we need it. That would, something, I think, from the police department, if we're gonna have anything.
Okay,
I know they have cameras in their budget line, and there was some repair that was
Yeah, I mean,
necessitated by,
per se, there is no maintenance once you put the camera up.
okay.
Unless something.
That's fine. I just see,
Yeah.
DMF facility, maintenance miscellaneous defund, we're gonna discontinue that, so that's gonna be a zero delete, Mary Ann?
yeah.
All right,
I don't know that we zero delete things that have activity in the prior year until this budget's over.
okay.
So you can see where money was spent.
Don't you have to wait until it just drops off?
No, you can force it off, but if there's activity, so you guys get a whole picture of how the budget was last year.
So that's that takes us to the end of the DMF budget.
No, then there's vehicles, and then there's
Oh,
Yeah,
parks,
we gotta go down.
and then
Oh, we
there's
gotta go down,
parks
okay.
after that.
So at that, you're down to 315,003 on 41.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Tires.
So tires, 2 front tires for garbage truck, 32 rear tire recaps, and $200 each. So we have 9,000 requested, 9,000 recommended. Is that enough?
It's enough.
With the new trucks, you're in better shape?
Yeah, we are in better shape, but you never know what's gonna happen. You know,
Correct.
when you go to a dump.
So everybody okay with 9,000?
Good?
Did
Yes, I'm for one.
the front end, the loaders, the bucket loaders,
Yes.
did we replace those recently? Wasn't that a big number?
The blades
No, the tires.
of the tires, yeah, we replaced one of them 2 years ago, I'm gonna say. I wanna say.
No, there was a big jump in 2016. I'm saying we spent 10 grand, so I'm thinking it goes
Yeah.
to 2016.
And I'm just, so this is great, the recaps and planning for the garbage truck, I guess. Is there, do we have a need for the front end loader?
No, they're fun.
The leaf vac, any of that?
The leaf vac we do have a need for, actually, this coming season. So, with the 9,000, I should cover that still, because we didn't come close to that, I don't believe, this year.
Okay.
Yeah, and we gave you a cushion of 2,600.
Okay, everybody okay with 9,000 then?
At the bottom, Mike.
Yes, DMF vehicles, equipment and repairs, 25,000 was requested, 25,000 was recommended. With all the new vehicles, is this number still going to be,
I hope not. It should be, it's ample for what we need, but
Okay.
we still have,
I know, you're still going to have vehicles that break down, absolutely. Is everybody okay with that request?
Yes, please.
For 315,006?
315,006. I just want, one sec.
Sure, take your time.
Too much, or?
Last year
I
we
don't
had
think so.
a
I think that's right
transmission
on.
replaced,
I think it's fine considering that, say, remember 2 years ago, that one truck had a,
transmission. right?
yeah,
Yeah.
the PTO went. First time I've ever seen that happen, and that was what,
Yeah, it was
15,000?
stupid money. Yeah. All right, 25, I think that's.
Is everybody okay with 25?
Yeah.
Mr. Allman, you okay with that?
Yeah, I guess, do we have a maintenance schedule for each of the vehicles?
Yes, for the most part.
So,
As a matter of fact, I was talking to the mayor today about that. We need to start working on the sanitation trucks for the coming season to get their Packers serviced and such. We try to do Packers every spring at the very least. We try to do a yearly servicing on the whole vehicle, filters and everything like that, so. we do-
hydraulics.
Exactly.
All, drain.
Mhm.
So, understanding you try, I guess, do we know, is it documented anywhere? We have, 12 trucks out there, and what is expected for the coming
We
year?
are starting to make, we had truck files, we don't know what happened to them a few years back. And we are still, I just recently printed out all the in-house and out surfacing, so we could actually go back to making truck files. I've got everything that we've done last year.
Yeah, we
and put
did
them
have
together.
files on those, exactly what we did and what we expected
Mhm.
that was coming up, and we can't find those files?
No.
And if I
So-
can just jump in for a moment, Ridgewood's going to approve or reapprove their part of the shared service agreement for vehicle maintenance at their next meeting. Once that's done, I'll bring it to the council for us to reapprove it also.
Okay.
And then they have a whole part of their software package. Light Vehicle keeps track of all this, sends out reminders, hey, you're coming up on this
It's just weird
mileage.
that we can't find those
your maintenance.
files.
Oh, I agree, yeah.
Because we had a breakdown on every vehicle, what was done in prior years and what we anticipated was going to occur in the, I would say, in the next 12 to 18 months. And I'm just shocked that we can't find that documentation.
So between Ridgewood and Mr. Lawler, those vehicle files will be rebuilt as much as we can. And going forward, if the truck needs an oil change, we're gonna get an oil change, right? I mean, we're all on consensus of that, right? We're not gonna fight over.
Do you have an idea where those files were normally stored? Were they stored in the DMF with you?
They were, and then there was things were moved around. I'm wondering if they're in the old vault, but I haven't been able to find them yet going through it yet.
Okay.
Weren't these the infamous files with the change of management?
That's my understanding.
Yeah, I
But
mean-
Bill, can I ask you, when we got the 2 new vehicles in 2016, or is it 17, I think it was 16, I'd given the books to Dan, and I said,
I
you
have
have to
them.
make sure you're
I saw
following
them.
this schedule, so
I
you're
agree.
following those schedules, okay.
Yeah, they're not used that often, so their hours are still low. They're due for come the spring. because-
It's usually time or mileage,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
right.
and they're due for the spring, but we can't take
Okay.
them off the road right now, so.
Okay, just want to make sure that you knew that was a tool that I'd given to.
No, I have them.
Okay, good.
And, Bill, if I can suggest, instead of hard copy, this seems like a perfect thing for just an Excel spreadsheet. to
It
keep
does, actually.
A sheet per vehicle and just a few columns, date, mileage, what was done.
Well, actually, that's what it was.
That way,
We had that too for a time.
and that's walked away also in electronic file.
I'm sure that's still in the files in the computers, so.
I've looked for it.
No? Okay.
It was deleted.
And we can't go back on the server and find it from a tape or something on backup or something like
I
that?
don't know if it's worth it. I mean, many of the trucks are out of service. now.
Yeah, so a lot of the trucks are gone, right? 'Cause we
Yeah, so
replaced
it's
them.
like,
Okay, well, we'll start fresh, so let's,
Move forward.
all right, so everybody okay with 315-006?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Going to page 42, 80126,
Wait, you
315-012.
skipped.
09.
Oh, I'm sorry, 09.
Yeah.
Okay. Equipment parts for inside repairs, 13,000 was requested, 13,000 was recommended. That falls in line with what was spent last year, so everybody okay with that?
It popped up. Are we doing more inside? Are we doing more maintenance inside, or do we anticipate doing more? Because it was running 3, 6, 2, 3. Last year was 12. I'm just looking to see.
Yeah, Gruff, we had the blade kit was big,
Yeah, we have to get
the
them.
leaf vac was big, and 5 by 8, 8 by 10 SHP 10-foot, whatever that is. 1,000, those are big, 3 big ones.
Well, the
Well,
leaf vac
raised.
shouldn't have to be done again, once we get the impeller.
And that was 1,600.
Yeah.
No, actually, it's more than that. Well, 1,600. 1,370 for a leaf blade, LE blade kit. What's that, Bill? An
Excuse
LE
me?
An LE blade kit.
You're talking about Trius or
Yeah, what
snowplows?
company?
Gruff.
Groff, that would be the blade for the bucket on the case loader, which wears down, you have to replace it.
Is that an annual?
Almost, leaf season, scraping the curb lines.
Yeah, so that was big. Those are the big ones, really big numbers. But then there's a lot of little stuff all over. Brake companies, automotive brake, a lot of money in brakes, I assume. Jesco.
That's John Deere.
Well, it looks like it's consistent with things that are
Yeah.
expendable.
Yeah, I can think in the past, things had been spread all over the place, so
It's
last
kind of
year I
putting
made
it all
an
together.
effort to put it in the right account, then we know for this year budgeting, how to budget properly.
So is everybody okay with 315-009?
Yes.
All right, moving down to 315-012, vehicle parts for inside repairs. 12,000 was requested, 12,000 was recommended. We spent about $9,500 last year, so
Seems fair.
Is there a difference between vehicle parts and equipment parts?
Yeah, well, the vehicle would be all the things you drive, and well, I shouldn't say things you drive, the other ones are like the bucket loader and
Heavy
the
equipment.
leaf vac, more equipment as opposed to
Oh.
trucks.
The last year you needed a radiator on something.
Oh, I don't know. That truck has a problem with radiators.
That's the same one, right?
Yeah. It seems to be a biannual event.
So is everybody okay with 12,000 for 801-263-15-012?
Just a quick question, do these parts include stuff when we send it out?
No.
No, there's an outside repair.
An outside repair,
Everybody okay with 12,000?
okay. Yes.
Art,
Yes, sir, yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Bruno?
Just keep in mind with some of these now, if we start to use Ridgewood, we might have to transfer because we may be doing less inside repairs, and so we might have to transfer some money.
Well, that's what I was
How
asking,
the
since we're gonna use
arrangement goes.
them,
Yeah.
you know, are they gonna supply the parts and charge us,
Yeah.
and how's that gonna work?
Yeah.
And-
How was it
So these would be budget, so these would be
budget.
budget transfers?
No,
at the-
you don't need to do a budget transfer because it's all within the same
Is it a
control
line? It's the same
account.
control.
Oh, okay, so
Control
we'll just bill
account,
that
so you
account. Okay.
You can
That's fine.
overspend a line so long as you're within vehicle repairs,
Because
you're good.
you can jump from a police inside repair to a DMF, because it's all under the control, all the way down,
Yeah.
midway down page 43.
Would the senior van fall into DMF, or is that a different department?
Yes, it would.
So senior van maintenance and repairs, 801-263-15-014. 2,000 was requested, 2,000 was recommended. Is the van operational right now?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And Oradell just is purchasing their own, so they're no longer going to be sharing it.
So what does that mean?
So
for
on
us?
the one hand, we have more control over it. They've been returning it sometimes with tires blown
Yeah.
out. They always paid for it. But, and then if we had regular maintenance, that was split with them 40/60. So now it's all on us.
So what would that, so is this the correct cost, or is it not enough to?
Well, I think the
100%?
mayor put in his budget, the capital
Yeah,
plan,
capital,
a new
We're
one.
looking to get a new senior van also to kind of start, I forget, Bill, do you remember how old that one is? Like, yeah, it's,
I think it's
11,
20.
11, 12,
uh,
I'm gonna say.
Have we looked at the New Jersey Transit grant for that senior bus?
I'm gonna say it's an 06 perhaps.
Not just yet, because it just recently came onto the radar. I know that's how we purchased the last one.
Yeah, because that's the way to go, is the New Jersey Transit grant, so.
So why, who did we share with?
Or,
And they have enough demand for it 5 days a week?
no, they're
Yes.
buying their own bus.
Well, no, but Michael has a good
Sure.
question. I raised the same question. Why don't we then use
Oh,
their van?
I misunderstood.
However, they have made a concerted effort to expand their senior services. I'm in talks with the administrator, and she said they can't make any promises until they see what the demand is, and then they may have some time to share it, but right now, they didn't want to commit to any sharing.
Well, I appreciate that, because it just, we have one van that worked for 2 towns, and now we're gonna have 2 brand-new vans, and is that demand, does that demand exist?
And I asked that question, I also asked at an administrators meeting if any of the other surrounding towns would be interested, and apparently Hillsdale and another town are already getting one together, so
Oh.
I think all our neighbors have made other plans.
So the 60-40 split, we paid 60 or they paid to
We
60?
paid 60, we had it,
We had the bigger
yeah,
share?
60% of the time.
Also, on that story, on that note, our bus driver will be leaving us this year at some point. He doesn't know his date yet, so we're gonna have to look into replacing him. Just,
Does there need to be a little, like, does the old driver have to train the new driver, so, or it's just a random service? No, I'm just saying how he operates, just.
Oh, the
needs-
routes?
Yeah, like the routes and stuff.
Some of
Do
the
we-
guys fill in.
yeah, we fill in.
Okay, so we'd be able to train the new
Yeah.
driver, okay. I'm just curious, you know, if there was any required symmetry between the two, so that, you know, if we had a retirement date, that we should hire the new one a month before, so they could work together.
We could fill in
Okay.
for a short
Mary,
time.
can you get the council a copy of that agreement between Oradell and Washington Township, the original?
I can look for it, yeah.
Bill, Mayor mentioned re-upping the Ridgewood agreement. I don't know if we used it that robustly previously, but
it never got signed by the mayor previously, so
So
we didn't use it at all.
we didn't use it
No,
at
was
all.
never used.
So have you toured their facilities?
I was over the mayor, yes.
And what is your thoughts on their capabilities in terms of the heavy-duty work?
They have capabilities. I have seen for the heavy duty, the larger trucks, we don't have lifts for our larger trucks. They have lifts for the larger trucks. I did see, I think they'd be fine, or at least a good option to include with everything else that we do.
Okay.
I don't,
They also have full-time heavy-duty mechanics
Yes.
who specialize in the heavier trucks. Maybe I didn't mention it, so if I did not, or if I did, I'll refresh everyone's memory. Went over there with Bill. Bill Billius, the director of fire, because he looked at it from the fire department vehicle perspective, and the chief for police vehicles. We all took a tour of their facilities.
Mr. Mayor, do we currently use Paramus or no?
we have an agreement with them, but
Yeah.
it's difficult.
Yeah.
We use them for fire.
Yeah, fire.
Do they
We've been
not
doing
have-
our preventative maintenance on fire trucks at a great savings, cost savings from the prior
Well, I'm saying, is
company.
there a savings between Paramus and Ridgewood that we picked Ridgewood, or was there a reason, or
Well,
just?
they're not
It's just another option, we're not.
Oh, we're not.
We're not exclusive with
Oh,
any.
okay, that's, I
Yeah, we
was,
also had something with the county, we're looking
Yeah.
at something with
We've-
the county
yeah.
as well. So we have. three
okay, so those are
options.
three,
They're all
okay.
just more options.
Okay,
Usually, I think if we went with one, there might be a timeframe, they might not be able to get us in.
absolutely, I didn't know if we were, I didn't know if we were going exclusively to Ridgewood, I didn't realize we were gonna keep all three going if, depending on. Okay.
Ridgewood gave us a deal 2 years ago that wasn't acted upon, and now we're acting on it, is what it comes down
Okay.
to, so.
Thank you. So I guess for the senior van, everybody okay with putting 2,000 in there? And then looking at the different avenues once we know what they are?
Yes.
Which number you at, Mike? I'm sorry.
315014, senior
Okay.
van,
Yeah,
page 42.
okay.
So maybe something to think about, if we can get double duty out of a person, if maybe when the van driver goes, we can hire someone either part-time or full-time in DMF and use them like part-time for DMF, part-time for driving the
That would
van.
work.
That way you have more flexibility. So give that some thought when the van driver leaves.
How utilizes our senior van on the days it is here?
Bill would know, I mean, Patty schedules that.
Senior meetings are utilized. ShopRite is a popular option on Mondays. It's not utilized very much. There's always a rider or so, but it's not utilized very much on the Friday programs, which is now Paramus Park or the Kmart Shopping Center. So Fridays not utilized very much.
On Mondays, yes.
Mondays, yes. Senior meetings, yes.
So we have it 2 days now?
We have three.
Three.
So Mondays-
I would say.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
If I remember correctly, based on signing his payroll stuff, it's probably like 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours each of those 3 days.
So that might be a good idea to have
Yeah.
a DMF worker
Worker.
operate both
Right.
and help Bill out with
Yeah.
it.
What if we just fan the whole thing out? Could we do that? Have somebody come,
And do what?
like, pick them up, like have a service to it, like Uber, not Uber,
Oh.
you know what I mean?
I don't know if that's.
I know the county provides a service too. There's probably some redundancy there.
Yeah, I mean, if there's services out there, they can schedule to come here.
I do know that last year Laura Rifkin had approached us about seeing if there was more availability for programs they wanted to run. And it wasn't at the time, it was going to conflict with the existing schedule on Fridays, but
Let's see if we go to the county, if we're only using it a limited amount of time, and it seems like Friday is not a huge day.
Well, could we move the activities from Friday to help Mrs. Rifkin out to if we maybe move the activities on a Friday so she could have the bus on Friday? Or was that like that?
I'd have to look into it again. It's,
Okay, I'm just trying to,
Yeah.
maybe if it's not utilized at all on Friday, maybe we could help her out on Fridays and then the seniors would get more use of it on a different day because maybe Friday is not good for them to go.
Is there grants that are associated with the funding of this particular vehicle that we call it the senior van? I mean, could it be used for preschool, library? I mean, I doubt that that's a demand, but, or,
Preschool, I doubt, because that probably needs a school bus, something that's been certified as a school bus, but,
There was interest with the library with his movie program.
Correct.
to bring people in?
yeah.
To bring seniors to the library, yeah. That's why I was saying if Ms. Rifkin can use it on Fridays, because they're not going to, wherever they were going, there's not enough volume, move that to maybe on a Wednesday, and then she could have them bus to the library on Fridays to have movie day, if that works. I'm just throwing it out there.
We can certainly talk about it, yeah.
Mary Ann, didn't they talk about that at the CD, those meetings that we go to over in Oregon?
CDBG
Yes.
at Old
I
Tappan.
can get these all mixed up. But didn't they have like a, they weren't using the funds for those anymore, the buses? Did they mention that?
Yeah, there was something where funding was eliminated for something.
Eliminated for-
Oh, no, I know what it was. So, in my hometown, I was aware that you were able to get CDBG funds to support your senior van driver. So I made an application on behalf of the township, and all the other towns were like, oh, we never did that. And they were all gonna tag along, they said, no, we're not gonna let anybody do it anymore, so.
Okay, that's what, I know it was
Yeah.
something like
No,
that.
no, that's what it was.
They discontinued that, okay.
Anything else for DMF?
Yes.
Parks.
49,
49.
bottom left.
Thank you, Mr. Ullman. Parks, building maintenance, 375, 420. 9,000 was requested, 9,000 was recommended. Guess we did some maintenance last year on buildings that we went over, and we
the
made it appropriate.
mold problem.
Oh, the mold issue, okay, got charged to this, okay.
So does their monthly cleaning or seasonal cleaning. Del Miro? Is that it?
I don't know what it is.
Amaral, yes.
So-
Should we flag this in light of the
Yes.
cleaning?
Yes.
And see if we have to take money from here?
So building maintenance, parks, 375, 420, we're gonna
So
hold
last year there
that.
was a $3,000 bill for repairs to Clark Field, whatever that was.
That was the mold and the water damage on the
Clark
leak,
Field?
on the roof, yeah.
Okay. So that goes away, I assume, right? Clark Field? It's better?
Yeah, it's repaired, I was just telling Danny that it's not leaking any longer, so it's good. It's just good area.
And then there were some toilet repairs at some of the.
So we're gonna
field houses.
hold on this until we get the numbers back, because this includes cleanup at the daily maintenance of the bathrooms and so forth. So we'll hold this item, if everybody's okay with that, until we get the new numbers. 375, 640, park field maintenance expenses. 18,000 was requested, 18,000 was recommended. We spent about 12,900 last year. Are we planning on doing anything in particular to,
Maybe we should flag that one also?
well, what were we planning with the extra money? That's all I'm looking at.
Actually, I don't know if it actually come out of this, but we were talking this morning actually about perhaps investing in an aerator for Memorial. At the moment, we work with the high school with their aerator, but if we're gonna be doing more,
It'd be equipment. We put in equipment.
And we'd like to use it at the other fields also.
Can we, does this include the beautification of the town in here, like some
I would think
flowers
so.
and, you know,
I would think that would be.
I mean, we have money in here so that each season we, these signs that you come into town look nice and the front of the town hall looks nice.
Well, those signs I have in capital. we found-
No, not the signs, but underneath them. I mean, the
Oh, the flowers and
flowers.
stuff.
I mean, this guy from Stonehill could do a beautiful job for us in
Yeah, he's always
3 or 4
willing to.
locations.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be beautiful.
And I think, again, I think that's part of what the green team envisions also, is doing beautification and green
But they're gonna
team.
need more than 2,000.
And, well, a lot of it's volunteer. He has quite a few volunteers that will go plant the flowers.
So we just gotta buy the flowers and stuff?
Buy them or see if they get them donated even, so.
I mean, as long as we do something each
Yeah.
season, so it
Right.
looks,
being discussed.
it looks
Yeah.
nice when you come
Yeah.
into town.
Yeah.
It's just tomorrow.
I agree.
David Snyder.
So we've had some
happy.
serious money in these in the past years, of course, that we haven't expended. So it's about half of what it was budgeted for 2017.
I think the consensus was, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that, now that there's a more willingness to
Yes.
spend the money, we would use 18 as a starting point and then see next year, about increasing it.
I appreciate that comment, Mr. Mayor. I'm just looking at the numbers budgeted, that none of it was
Yeah.
spent except for
Yeah.
some periods of time.
Right.
But everybody okay with 18,000 for 375, 640?
I think we need that. I've been talking to Tom Sears about the green team. and the mayor and so on and so forth. And there are a lot of planting and renovative plans out front, including taking down the 2 scraggledy pine trees and so on, and plants and redoing that. And that's going to take some money for just the plants, even if we can dig the holes for them.
Does Tom have a plan that he can show us, what he plans to do?
I don't think we have anything developed yet.
He's putting it together.
Right?
Yeah. We've done a lot of research, like Mike said, with the Sustainable New Jersey and like that. That took a lot of time to get us back on that.
Meetings set up.
Yeah, but I think in the not so distant future, they'll come up with a plan.
I mean, as long as we commit to cleaning the town.
Right.
So it looks nice, I mean, I don't want to hear people anymore.
Yeah.
375, 640, okay, everybody?
No, so I
Oh.
guess my question is, where is overseeding,
Yes.
fertilizer,
I would assume that'll come out of that.
soil amendments? So,
Oh, that all comes out of that?
I would assume, park field maintenance.
Oh, then we want 25.
well, I guess that's my
Okay.
question.
Yeah.
So, to,
That's why I was asking why
You
we
want a field.
reduced it.
You want a
but-
field
I-
with plantings and Christmas decorations and flowers and designs. Give us 25,
so,
at least.
or what
I'm sorry.
I'm thinking, so, yes, beautification, flower, all that. I'm talking about run the engine for Clark, which I don't think we do, but
You don't
Sherry,
maintain Clark or Sherry,
we don't maintain either of those. We just do Memorial.
correct.
You do Sherry?
Will you share?
Oh, they help us out at Sherry, yeah, we do work down there, but Clark, we do Clark 100%
Well,
ourselves. They help us, yeah,
baseball.
baseball.
We do the park itself,
The outside.
yes.
Yes, the playground and everything, we don't, but the field itself, we fertilize and maintain and mow every week, so,
So that's my question, is that, right now,
yes.
there's not,
We have a contract.
there's not gonna be a solution, a long-term solution for Memorial Field.
Well, that's
There's
a,
45,000 budget for resurfacing on this page.
Well,
I don't see a long-term solution coming for this playing season based on the couple of committee meetings that I attended already.
so,
when will we,
so my point is, do we need to address it now? Do we need to turn on the sprinklers? Do we need
Absolutely.
to fertilize it, overseed it?
We spoke about that this morning.
We actually started seeding today.
Okay, so.
are we gonna aerate and then split seed, or are we gonna?
I like the area again, but again, we have to work with the high school with that, and so we're dependent on their schedule.
Can we ask Westwood if they have a machine we could borrow?
They don't.
Yeah, that's what Bill said, he doesn't think the machine's very expensive, so I think
What we would need, no, I don't.
yeah, so I think it was built into one of the equipment.
So we're gonna aerate and spring seed?
We
in the
try to do
next-
it 3 times a year at least.
And we're gonna put, are we hiring a outside vendor to do the fertilizer, or who has the fertilizer
We've done
license?
everything. We've, last.
And who holds the license to do the pesticides?
Nobody.
What we
That's
decided,
one thing they gotta go for.
what we decided to do this morning is, we're gonna take soil samples from all the fields to get a baseline to see what they actually need as far as fertilizer and chemicals to give it the best shot as to, something going on at the fields.
I mean, they
But
also-
I think we, Mr. Mayor, I agree with it needs to be done, but I think without anybody holding a pesticide license and children using this field, it needs to be done by a person with a pesticide license. So I think either we're gonna have to contract this out, so this is another quote we're gonna have to get on top of all the other quotes we've asked for. I know we've given Mr. Lawler a big list. He's got big shoes to fill.
Good. Wait till it's got 5 hours extra.
So I think that,
In the meantime, they can go over to Bergen and get the pesticide license, one of the people, if they're willing.
There was one that was-
well, I think it's a class, and I think you have to.
What?
It's got some requirements you need to fulfill. You
It's
just
3
can't-
one-day classes.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, we need to send them, yeah.
I have-
So Mike, do you want this number to include that, because the 45,000 we did actually was changed to 15,000 for studies in the temporary budget, correct? When we
I
did
don't
the
have it in
temporary-
front of me.
Yeah, we changed the 45 to 15,000 for studies. So the 45 technically doesn't exist for resurfacing, but whether it's called resurfacing, whatever.
Well, nothing exists
So I
until
guess
you approve it.
my thing is, or my observation would be that we're going to turn the page and talk about resurfacing, and that may drive us down a path of what's happening at Memorial and lights and an artificial surface, or, you know, re-leveling, but at the moment, in a couple of weeks, probably sooner, there's going to be kids that are going to go there to play, and, you know, we need to ensure that we prepare that as best we can, and if we need to identify if there needs to be some rest after lacrosse before summer baseball, or, you know, whatever that is, do we have a plan, a tactical plan for the next 2 months? And, you know, can we execute around that? And would that be funded out of this? And if we have enough money here, then I think that's great. If 18K is going to cover that, which it sounds like it should, you know, I'm fine with that. But
I think last year, though, was it 7,000 to aerate and seed? Give it that?
We did bring in a company last year at one point.
I
High
think
school
they-
was cooperative.
didn't they do the hydro seeding?
That was 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago?
Hydro seeding, actually, they did with the ramp work. So
Okay.
they did that. And
No, but they actually hydro-seeded parts of the field, I think you're right.
2 or
Mr.
3
Allman,
years ago,
yeah.
they did, yeah.
So, I mean, you know, I don't know what the expense is for that. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Seed, not so much the hydro seed, but the seed, the aerator. I mean, I'm all for getting that done and getting it done as efficiently as possible. So,
Mary Ann, do you remember last year what we paid for the Memorial Field? We did some seeding, Madam
Would
Mayor
be
did
in
some
here.
seeding and aerating and stuff for us. I thought it was $7,000 for some reason, but
It would be in the actuals.
the pump work?
And it needs one of the PVC pipes cracked at the end of the football season. We have to have that fixed.
Can we,
Where the crack? By the pump itself?
Yeah, one of the connections between.
at the base of each one of the lights, there's electrical outlets with no covers on them for years, and
They should be covered. We did put covers on.
okay, can we just double check that, yeah?
I thought it was
Summer
7,500.
rec, I think they did a review and tried to put covers on.
They did put
I think
them
it
on,
was
because they weren't there
75
they weren't there last
750
spring, so I
How
mean,
much?
Yeah,
Look
they
on
wanted summer rec.
page 121 of the actuals,
Yeah, I'm at 121.
at the very bottom. Lawn Ranger, 455 and 360.
Oh, okay.
aerate labor, yeah.
And fertilize.
These guys did it on their own a lot. In the beginning of the season, you see the 50-pound Gold Ribbon Athletica and the 35-pound Starter Spur.
Yeah.
That was the seed and it wasn't that, Bill?
Mm-hmm.
And then you had someone, and then you borrowed the aerator, and you guys did it that way.
Yeah, you
So
cooperated with the
that's
high
15
school, and then the high school got busy and they weren't able to,
No, I'm just saying, because he thought we spent more than we,
We need to control our own destiny in that area, not.
So it's like
have to depend on
$3,000. It was about $3,000, just to get seed and stuff.
So I guess once we get the quote for the pesticides, or whether we're gonna get the training to put the pesticides on ourselves, we need that number.
I'm not sure if it's just fertilizer that you need a pesticide license. I assume you don't put down weed killer.
Well, you're gonna have to put down weed killer and all
Well,
that kind of
then
stuff,
you gotta
yeah.
hire somebody
Yeah,
to
that's
put it
what I'm
down.
saying, yeah, we're not,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I'm not arguing with you on that. We talked about 4 fertilizations this
What's that?
morning.
Weeds are green.
yeah.
Four fertilizations, aerating before seeding, overseeding continually during the season, starting immediately, and then also shifting the practices over as possible. And it was explained to me there are not lights at the other fields in this whole problem. And I don't mean to get into a big roundtable, prolonged discussion, we have a lot to do. But the grass needs a rest during the week. Between seasons was, I heard, that's a good idea, but you cannot practice on a field 6 days and play football on the 7th.
That's correct.
That grass is not going to make it. It's never going to do it.
okay.
And in the past, it's been done where you could practice at the other fields.
Yeah.
You know, and have a game or some practices on Memorial and spread out the practices on the other fields.
Yeah, I just want to.
Have we gotten a permit from the high school to let our recreation programs use the high school field? As our rec director made an application for lacrosse and,
I know when Mayor Bertner was here,
you had mentioned senior baseball hasn't played at Memorial Field in over 2 years because we just don't have, we've been playing away schedules because we weren't given it, there was no time available for the boys to play there. So we've played in a full away schedule, and Westwood has let us use Westvale Park on a bunch of occasions as a you know, a nice gesture to us. So we have not utilized it. We've reached out to the rec director. He's promised us some time this year on Sundays because it doesn't conflict with their schedule. So we're really, our players are very excited that they're going to get to play on Memorial this year. I know for some reason we bulldoze the mound every year. So if the DMF could just put the material back around the
We do
mound.
every year.
Yeah, and then if we can get some help in putting the mound back, and, you know.
Football likes the mound gone for their practice league season.
I understand, okay, all right, that's fine. If we could put it back, that'd be
We do.
great, yeah. You've been, so, we've,
I had asked Dave to look at, to put in applications for the schools to see. I did it last year, and we got some response, but we didn't follow up on it. I don't think the rec director did anything this year, so I had asked Dave to use my name.
we use the, you know,
put forward,
baseball uses
applications.
George School for T-ball. We let the girls play at the, softball sometimes is given some time at the front field as like a, you know, a big game at the high school. They don't, you know, typically they're at Gardner. And so we do put applications in, and they're very willing to give us the time on both fields, and it's a big help.
Yeah,
So,
we're waiting to hear back.
So back to the 18K, do we want to flag it, or do we want to say,
well, I guess we need to know the pesticide, whether somebody's going to go sit for the license, or are we going to have an outside vendor do it?
You're going to have an outside
Correct.
vendor do it this year, because there's not time to get in all that training.
That's what I was, yeah. Okay.
So why don't we go for that, and why don't you give us 25?
Well, why don't we wait until we find out what the costs are going to be to fertilize the fields?
If you
'cause-
wish.
Yeah. Is everybody okay with that?
That's always a good
Yeah.
idea.
We'll flag it.
So that was 370, 775? Is that right?
375, 640?
375, 640 is a hold.
Page 49 on the
Yep.
bottom.
Parks,
you,
portable
sir.
bathrooms, 2,500. 3,000 was requested, 3,000 was recommended, for
This should be
375, 780.
This should be part of our contract, the cleaning contract.
No, these are for portable bathrooms, these are for the porta-john. These are for the porta-johns. There's a porta-john at Gardner,
Oh,
there's
portable
2 at Sherry.
Are we getting another unit?
That's what,
We asked for an increase because of the summer concert series.
that makes sense, okay.
That's true.
Thank you.
Everybody okay with 3,000 due to the summer concert series?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
375, 780 is good. Parks field striping, 3,100 was requested, 3,100 was recommended, 375, 781. It's, I guess, the approximate cost of what we spent last year, so everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Sure? Yes, we good?
Hang on a second. Let me just-
Hold on, Mr. Bruno has a question.
No, I don't, I just want
Oh.
to make sure that we didn't spend anything big in there. It's a whole bunch of stuff.
I think it's just paint. I looked up the actuals, it was
Yeah,
just
that's
paint.
fine.
Our paint machine is okay, Bill?
We're going to need a new one soon, but it still runs and works.
Okay.
We maintain it. It's a 2001, so it is getting.
It's end of its life.
You had to repair something last year.
Yeah,
Replace a hose?
A hose blew.
Which one are you on?
We're at page 50, 375, 781 at the top of the page is the last one we did this with.
Sure.
Okay, resurfacing Memorial Field, 377, 200. Zero was appropriated in 2017. A request of 45,000 has been made this year, and a recommendation of 45,000 has been requested.
So we changed this to 15,000 in the temporary budget to fund for studies, unless this is going to be part of your seeding and aerating and stuff.
it's envisioned that it would be, that some areas might require sod just based on the usage that it gets, and some is overseeding, and, it was just a rough estimate at the time. I'm still not sure how much of it they're gonna recommend, doing sod versus just overseeding.
So we should flag it until we figure out what we're gonna do?
That's fine.
And didn't the rec department, and I could be mistaken, but they did not want a partial sodding, or is that on the table?
It's on the table, yes.
So they backed off sodding the entire field?
Yes.
They're back and forth with it. They wanted to sod the football area. Then they wanted to sod the whole area. So this temporary resurfacing was really for the football lacrosse field. With a split decision.
Now, what kind of study are we entailing here, Mr. Mayor? I'm just curious.
It's been suggested that we do something like the MKW study, but have it current, because some people said, well, let's go back to it. But now that there's an appetite to do something with the field, it was recommended to have a third party do a study of all our fields to see how we can spread the usage around of our different programs and like that.
Can we be provided a copy of the MKW study?
What we have, what we were able to find of it, of course. Yeah, I don't know that we have the whole thing, but
Can we?
send you whatever
We
we
have
have.
Sue has it. It was
I think I have it, yeah.
distributed.
Okay.
I didn't get a copy yet, so
Oh, yeah, that was,
I'll send you a copy.
if you could send me a copy.
Yeah,
Judge.
well, Art, you'll want a copy as well, correct?
It's old as the
Absolutely.
hills.
Okay.
What's that?
It's old as the hills.
Okay, I just would like to see it, that's all.
No, it's good to look at, but it just, everybody's going back to it. It's just too old.
Right.
Now, who will prepare the study?
We'll probably do like an RFQ, RFP to see, who's interested in doing it. And go from there.
Okay. So we'll hold on 377-200 until we receive more information. Has the field committee issued their report yet that we will have before the next meeting, Mr. Mayor? I know we were going to discuss this, so.
Probably not, for reasons that I'll get into at the next meeting as part of the discussion of Memorial Field, but probably not.
So to date, I just want to put it out there, we still have not received the report because I'm being asked why we're not discussing it. And my statement is still that we have not, as of today, we still have not received the report. The council has not received the report.
Yes, because for better or for worse, the committee can't even agree on doing a report and what should be in it.
Okay, I've been asked why we haven't been discussing the report, and you haven't received it and we haven't
No,
received it,
correct,
so.
right.
There's no official report. There's split decisions, there's different temperament, there's different conversations.
Mr. Bruno, the question was asked
No,
of
but
why
I'm-
we haven't
so-
discussed the
so
report.
I'm
and-
answering the question,
Yeah.
is there is no report.
Okay.
There's a lot of personalities involved, and it's not going anywhere after a year. So that's where
That's,
you're at.
I just wanted to put
That's
that
the
on
long
there.
and short.
Yeah, so it's
Yep.
sad, and, we need a resolution to this, and we don't have it right now to be discussed, so.
Correct.
We'll be getting it.
Moving down, that might be it,
Might be
right?
it for DMF, that's it for you.
Oh, we have DMF building electricity, no, that's fine, that's not,
I don't think we got,
I think we're
we
done.
did the fuel for him.
No, we did not do fuel yet.
No, but we do that. Bill doesn't give that number, unless you want to talk about it.
No,
while it's
that's
here.
fine, as long as
Okay.
you, as long
One
as
other
you're-
thing is Mr. Ullman, I think, brought it up, and it's worth having a brief chat while Bill's here. On page, I'm looking at the February 20th updated budget, it's page 54, so it's either 54 or 55 for you guys. The landfill and dumping fees from the debris program, 8-01-32-465-000.
It is 55, gentlemen, on the old budget. So 67,000.
Yes, so, I don't know if Bill can speak to the amount of, the fees are what they are. They're flat through May 31st. I don't know what they're gonna be after that, and I'm gonna adjust once I know they were out to bid. volume? Do you see any change in the last few years?
It seems to have gone down, but now, then it went up again. more
So-
with the economy,
So this is to dump our own garbage trucks? that
Yes.
People, I had a question. When I first moved into Township in the early 90s, it used to be one was for grass and branches, and one was for household debris. And about 10 years ago, that stopped, and we just dump everything into both.
It was always going into both.
We're supposed
Would
to
it
do
be
it separate.
cheaper, would it be cheaper if we
We
had?
try to split it, but sometimes when trucks are down, you have issues, or it's one truck's dumping, and you're trying to keep up with the route, you have to go make one.
I'm just saying, would it be cheaper if we dumped, we went back to, when it's possible to having, this truck for grass and yard waste and this truck for?
Yard waste is cheaper, yes,
Far cheaper, yeah.
but,
Because we're dumping it as household waste, even though it's all grass, just because we put a couple loads in there.
Yeah.
So is there a way we could, have because I remember when I first moved here, you could, if you got there and the one truck was full for household debris,
no, we always took it.
yeah, but it would go, but it wouldn't go into the grass originally.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we can go back to that and have a savings to us, I think it could be substantial because,
We try to do that when possible, like I said, if you're falling behind on routes, or a truck is often
Dumping.
dumping an hour and a half, 2 hour round trip there, then you have to try to keep up in that way.
okay. I was just curious if, yeah.
So we're doing it where possible or when possible?
Yeah, yes.
How is it, the grass pickup day is what day relative to debris is?
The days are the same.
So if we spread them
Zone
different-
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when it's debris week, it's still the same zones.
Oh, so they're supposedly separate trucks? Okay, and that's probably part of it because of their same day.
You have
All
to
right,
go once
yeah.
a week to pick up the grass, yes, in each
The
zone.
grass is daily.
It's weekly, yes.
Weekly per zone?
Yeah, yeah. It's every day from April through October.
Have they tried to reduce that through public education to any extent?
I don't believe
So
so.
that everybody blow cuts?
No, I don't believe
It's the
so.
way the landscapers say.
I don't believe so. It's a very, very popular
We
program.
should. We should. It's better for the lawn, better for the grass.
Better for the roads, less truck traffic.
Saves money on fertilizer, because it all goes back to the lawn, and it's gone in 3 hours.
That's a matter of preference.
I'll give you the information
I know,
from
no, no,
Rutgers
good.
with
No, no.
all respect.
I was just
Mr.
looking at
DeSena.
reducing, I was just looking at reducing the cost, because I know when we have commingled
That's what I'm
waste.
talking about.
No, but I'm saying when we mix the
Grass.
garbage trucks, yeah, but when we
Grass.
mix garbage trucks, then we're paying for the more expensive truck.
Absolutely.
Let's do both. Let's educate the public and
Yeah, that can go out in
Yeah.
the green team's,
Green team should
monthly.
be educating
Right.
them, and that's a big cost saving for the town, picking up all that grass every week. Huge, huge.
What, is there anything in the capital budget?
for DMO.
Yes.
I think there's quite a bit of trucker.
Do you guys want to make a decision on the landfill and dumping? Do you want to leave at 67,000?
2
or-
vehicles.
So
I'm okay with
what's the issue is if the rate goes up?
Well, it could go, and I would let you know, but otherwise, this was just factoring in some expected increase, assuming the volume was the same.
I'm fine with that.
Everybody okay with 465,000? Okay.
Yes.
You,
Yes,
Bill? Good?
Yeah, that's fine.
67?
you can live with that? Good.
We're looking at capital now?
Look, there's certainly some trucks.
So we gotta replace a T-28 and replace a T-34.
Yeah.
Bill,
Yes, sir.
we're replacing a T-28 that was sold in 2017, and,
Actually, no.
No?
28 we still have, and yes, we want to replace that.
oh, so you want to, oh, so it's not sold?
No, we still have that.
So that's all right?
It's convoluted, but yes, we still have that, and T-34 is a pickup truck we leave because they're both 2004.
You have that one still?
Yes. They're both 2004s and in terrible shape.
Oh, you still have two T-28? I didn't know that. Okay.
So what is a T-28, a big guy?
We'd like to replace it with something slightly
No,
lower.
what is it?
It's
Is
a,
that one of the big ones?
no, it's not one of the big ones. It's a 3,500 rack truck. And the body's rotten, frame's bent, the lift, it won't even dump anymore.
So it's in good shape then.
No,
That's the ugly rack truck that drives around town.
yeah.
That's the ugly rack truck, yeah.
And,
Has,
so, but could be replaced with, the Mason dumps we ordered last year. So we're hoping to get something slightly larger, a size or two larger, for, various other issues.
now, one of the things is, on all the new trucks we purchased in the last few years, I mean, we're power washing them all down when we're done, getting all the salt off them.
We wash them, yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that, or do we have the ability to do that, or we have to take it somewhere, and we should budget to take it somewhere that would do that?
I'm trying to get information on the county's truck wash to make it easier.
That's what I was saying, that's, yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to get information on that, but they're not cooperating too much right now. So
Oh,
that's-
I have contacts there, I can.
Yeah, because that would be a lot easier, just, drive.
Because the truck should be washed more, that's what's causing the rack truck to rot, is because of all the salt sitting in it for years and not
Bill,
being,
did we ask Dan about that in Ridgewood, if they have one?
I did, they don't have a
They don't
truck
have
wash.
no, they don't.
So, I'm sorry, can you go back now? So Class 7 dump truck to replace a T28.
Right, it's
So
not.
what do you want to replace it with?
We're looking at something like a 750 per se. This is a smaller model, this is a 550. But
Which is-
other towns are getting into this.
So this one,
It's a truck
What is
with
here?
multiple interchangeable bodies.
Oh, okay.
We don't need all the bodies, but
Right.
it serves, more purposes than just one, just the dump truck, you can.
okay,
So we're looking at that.
what is it called?
This is a 550, we're looking at a 750.
And what attachments, for the 170 price, what were you getting, just a dump body on it for now, and then?
Dump body salter, 10-foot plow, and at the moment, that would be it.
Okay,
How much is that?
170.
Yeah, this with the quote I got from, it's not a quote, but we were just getting.
Is this a state contract purchase, or no? It's not?
They say it is, and it'll be out at the end of March, so they don't have exact numbers. So this was a random number. He said 150 for the dump body and the truck, and then if you throw the salter on it, that'll probably be another 10, 15.
Okay, so that's the 170. And a pickup to replace a T34,
That's another, just pickup for pickup.
just a pickup truck?
Yeah, and that we wouldn't even do it. All it needs is a lift gate. We could transfer the plow it has, the 34 has, to a new truck, so we wouldn't even have to bring that new plow. All it is putting brackets on it,
45,000?
probably. It's just a
The old plow
2,500.
got all the bells and whistles you need to be effective?
Pardon me?
Does it power angle and
The
everything?
plow? Yeah, the plow.
Yeah. Has all those things? Okay.
So Marianne, if these get all approved and we order them, this is like is this a year deal, or what's the deal with this?
No, if it's a state contract and they vet it, the thing is, the previous contractors didn't always provide the requisite information. Now I have Christina, who's kind of learned how to vet these contracts, so it's a matter of, when do we order this stuff? You never know. It's like usually a 3 to 6 month lead
Yeah,
time.
mid-December, and we were told up to 90 days for the cab and chassis to come in, and then the dealership has to actually put them together. So,
Yeah, so you're looking like almost sometimes a 6 month window.
and one thing it slipped my mind when we were speaking earlier this morning and previously, we are going to need at least one salter insert for one of the Mason dumps when they come in.
Okay.
Because if we manage to replace truck 28, that salter could be in one Mason dump, but we still need one more.
What are those around?
6 to 8, depending on the size, down.
I think we have money in old capital budget for that stuff. In fact, that's how we were able to buy some more vehicles, because
Is there any money,
we bought 2 for the price of 1, and then there was even some more.
Right.
is there any more reserve left that could help out offset these costs? Because I know DMF has been getting a lot of new vehicles, and there's departments that haven't, and, so do we have any reserves that could help offset these costs to
I'm
minimize them
waiting
in
on
this
to
year's
hear
budget?
from that from Ashley to figure out where we are with our
Okay.
capital.
And I guess,
I mean, we really got to scrub this once and for all. I mean, we took the money out to play with the grant receivable, which we did quickly, but there's still, on the financial statements, there's still 163,000 of old stuff that we haven't tapped into. Who knows whether we can or we can't. That's not a cash reserve, that's an old ordinance.
so I would pay for your one truck, so.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta strip. all
Money's
this
already
stuff
been,
out.
money's already been paid off, and it's there, so why not use it if we
And
can?
I've talked, my recommendation is, assuming it's okay, is just cancel it and get it into the pot that you don't have to try to pigeonhole it into.
I agree.
You know, an
That's
old
what
ordinance.
Bob,
It
that's what we've
makes
been
it-
asked, yeah.
Yeah, it makes so much, it's so difficult to purchase when you have to do that.
And I guess, yeah, I guess the last thing, Bill, is the senior van, 62,500, so that's for a new van equivalent to the one we have now?
That was not in my hands.
I received that estimate from Ordo, actually. I was talking to them to figure out how much
Is
they
that
had
similar
spent.
to what we have now, or is that a different model?
It's different, it's, I
But
think it's
similar?
It's similar, yeah.
Yeah.
So we flagged the senior van cost, didn't we? To see what-
62.5, yeah, we're
The
gonna, yeah.
maintenance we did in conjunction with
But
this.
but he's got, the DMF has a new van in there, I was just going past, you know, in their capital, they're
That's not-
62,500.
That's not Bill's area,
Well, it's in DMF.
though. I know, but it's not, he's
It is actually, he's the one who's in charge of it.
I know, but he's not recommending 62.5, that's what I'm saying. Unless you are.
Just getting back to, we talked about maintenance and maintaining a log, a file for each truck. Do we have a forward-looking view? I mean, I see you have a 2020 dump truck. Do we know, like, useful life expectancy for?
Just a guide, just guidelines. You usually expect 20 years for the larger vehicles, like 15 to 20. I mean, it could be less, could be more, depending on, you know, the vehicle. And then, like I said, the two we're trying to replace this year, they're 14, 15 years old. You can't complain that much about 14, 15-year-old vehicles. And like I said, the larger ones, the loaders, the garbage trucks, in the past, I know they were exchanged on like a 20-year cycle, if possible. So our next, the next large vehicle would be early 20s, 2022, 24 would be a garbage truck more than likely.
When I had asked Bill that, we kind of reviewed it, and it went on more than 5 years even, so.
So Bill would, you know, I know a lot of towns do this, like, you know, maybe we defer the Class 2 pickup truck for a few more years, and we put that 45, 50,000
Well,
into
that has a
a...
hole in the floor.
Oh, okay, well, then we can't do that.
And the motor goes
It's like a
fall out of
Flintstones.
the back.
That could work.
But maybe, you know, we put some money somewhere for, you know, the garbage truck that's coming in 5, 6 years, so we don't have to, you know, put out 750, I don't know what a new garbage truck costs. 250, so, you know, in 5 years, we'd have enough money to buy a garbage truck rather than outlaying 250 that year. Or even putting 25,000 and we wait 10 years. Just putting some kind of reserve fund, I don't know if that's where you were going, Mr. Ullman,
Well,
but,
that's one thing, and the other thing is just really to have a clear view. So, I mean, there's a couple of new dump trucks out there, there's a newer pickup, if I'm not mistaken.
2010, I believe.
Newer's relative, but.
Compared to
you know,
four, it's new.
What is,
Doesn't have a hole in it, does it? That's good.
you know, we have a
Right.
garbage truck that,
yeah.
or two that we brought in? One,
Two, I think.
two.
What?
The garbage
garbage
trucks.
trucks.
We have one new one.
One new one.
One's an one new one I believe is an 04 or 06, and the other one's an 09 or 010.
So, to where I was heading, Mike, is just, you know, we do this forward-looking plan, and our current year plan has challenges, so to look forward and, you know, have a reliability, you know, I question, not this particular one, but just in general, and if we laid it out, you know, clearly to say, you know, in 3 years, you're going to be looking at a new garbage truck, in 6 years, you're looking at a new front-end loader, it would be, you know, something worthwhile to have, and, you know, keep that strategic, forward-looking plan up to date. So that was basically it.
Yeah, I guess my take on that would be like, if, you know, we know we need new fire trucks, and we're gonna have to spend a lot of money to buy new fire trucks, and we have no money in reserves for those fire trucks, so we're gonna outlay a huge amount of taxpayer dollars in one fiscal year. So, you know, we've, in the last 2 years, coming to these meetings, we've outlaid a lot of money for the DMF, and it was all needed trucks. I mean, they were old and they were in bad shape, and we spent hundreds, and, you know, we spent probably over $1 million in trucks in the last 2 years, a lot of money in trucks. And if we would have put $50,000 a year, you know, in 10 years, there's a $500,000 account sitting there, and maybe that helps defray the bonding costs for those trucks, or it does something, but we're not, you know, putting councils, you know, in the future, at the same disadvantage that was put on you guys when you took office, because, you had to outlay all these big expenditures. And, same thing for the fire department. If, most towns put $50,000 away every year for a fire truck for the future. And hopefully you do it and it works out that you have the money when you need the truck.
This is a catch-up year, let's be
I-
honest. This is what's happening.
Absolutely,
In the
Mr.
past,
Cassidy, yeah.
We put the money in the pot, it's gone into reserve, it's sitting in the reserve, and now we have a new administration.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that Peter's willing to spend the money where it needs to be spent, and the
We all
public, yeah, the public.
Well, I was thinking if we
Well,
could, if,
I understand, we want to plan for the future. so
no, but if we
don't get a
find,
big
if
hit
we,
like
yeah,
this
but if you
in the
find the
future.
reason, if we could use that 167 that Mr. Bruno was talking about to buy the one truck, so that would offset that cost. But I would ask the mayor and the council to throw in $50,000 for future costs, so this way, it's still
This is gonna be
less.
When
Absolutely.
it comes down to this budget, this is going to be an abnormal year.
Absolutely.
It's just a blimp on the screen, and
Absolutely.
we got to take a hit, and, the taxpayers, we're going to try and keep it at zero. I don't know if we really can, because we have a lot of time to make up, but in the future, like you said, if we bank a little bit, when they come due, the town will not get hit.
Correct.
With a big.
That's all I'd like to see. I just,
And
my,
that's,
We do it for the ambulance, we put money away for them, so we should do it with
Yeah,
our other things.
Well,
you know?
I don't know if, Peter, if you mentioned this, because I was doing some other things while you were just chatting about this. You put a substantial amount in the capital improvement fund for that very purpose,
Yeah.
to try to build that up, because in looking at it last year, it was basically depleted, but then you strap yourself, and if you find yourself where you need, because the emergency comes in the nature of a capital improvement.
It's
So
been clear
there's,
for years.
you'll see when you get to that point, was it 200,000, something like
I
that?
think it was in the 300,000.
Yeah.
200. Yeah. But again, I spoke to Lou May about contingencies, and his recommendation is generally, he's never seen anything more than $50,000 put in a budget. But I think until we, I sound like a broken record, but until we strip all this money that's sitting on the balance sheet,
you're absolutely right. Mr.
we can't, I don't think it's right to start funding and incurring debt. We don't have a debt schedule, we don't have a long-term debt schedule, we don't have a 10-year plan, a 5-year plan. We have some of the bonds that are coming through, which are gonna end, we have bans that are out there. So it's not just, putting money and buying trucks, it's how we're gonna pay for it and how long we're gonna spread it out. And that's the whole thing. So if we're looking at trucks, we can say, in this year, we're gonna bond a truck and pay for it for the next 10 years, then you're not hitting somebody with 700,000 in 1 year.
No,
It's gotta be financially spread out.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, so I guess that takes us to the end of DMF, if anybody has any questions, and
You want to add anything?
I'm fine.
If you think of something, please come back.
Do you
So
put
we can
the-
always, it's not be
Put money in
final.
for a ceiling?
We have the sheet rock, we just have to put it in.
They have a lot of homework to do.
Yes, apparently.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
And
it
then
is a lot, but
planning contract comes in.
hopefully it
Yeah.
is beneficial in the long run.
Hopefully.
I mean,
Next year, we won't have to go through it.
well, and maybe you don't have to do it this year, maybe this, I hope, I hope you find it beneficial.
I actually enjoy challenges.
It's gonna be worse, right?
I think we want to spend the money.
For how many years?
This was every day.
Still around. Thank you.
What are you gonna do it for? So you gonna do a fire department? She can be if you need her.
okay, gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
Great, it's great.
So we had scheduled a meeting for Saturday, the 3rd, at 9 a.m.
Yes,
Is everybody still okay with that?
yes.
I'm not here.
I know you said you wouldn't be here, Mr.
Representatives from fire will be here.
Representatives from Fire will
Just
be here?
have to tell you, I have a medical procedure thing going on Friday.
Okay, so you're,
I'll do my very best.
okay. So our next scheduled meeting will be March 3rd at 9 a.m. here.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
One quick thing, 2018 pet licensing, $25 late fees will be enforced beginning Monday, March 5th Applications were mailed in December. I feel like Bob Barker, right? Didn't he always say?
Are you getting commission out of these?
Yeah, no, I'm
No,
not.
I asked him.
Applications were mailed in December for renewal by January 31st. Please note, rabies must be current through November 1st in order to register your dog. If you no longer own your pet or have acquired a new one, kindly advise the clerk's office. Thank you.
We appreciate that.
So,
Thank you for that public
is there a
service
small,
announcement.
is there a small budget we can fit in that was in between this and the police, or no?
That's a nice idea.
Mr. Casco, you said you had to add something? Oh,
You want to do utilities or something?
What about zoning board?
Or utilities? No, that's actually not easy.
motion to adjourn,
No,
gentlemen?
There actually wanted, he wants to do another,
Oh, you want to do another,
What about court?
You want to do the
I
electricity
mean, we got,
stuff or something?
I hate to say it, but we've got to get as much done, you know, whether you do it Saturday, you're gonna do it anyway, but
You want to stay until 10:30? I'm good, are you good?
I'm good to 10:30. I can't stay longer than 10:30.
We can stay.
so what page, Mary Ann?
I don't know, we could do health.
Why not the zoning board? That's no good?
No,
That
because
was, we skipped that to go to,
Health is a quick.
we
Where's
skipped that
health?
to go to police.
page 42, 43, I don't know what it is on yours. Actually, before you do that, we'll do the Community Service Act one, the Kelly
Where am I going?
bill
Just give
one.
us a page, please.
Please.
I'm looking at 42, you may be at 43. It's
42, 43?
Yeah, right after where the vehicles left off.
So,
Health,
yeah, I have,
before
what
you
about
get to
community,
there-
what do we have to do Community Service
Do
Act?
the
That's-
Community Service Act.
So, Community Service Act condos,
That's-
801-26-325-000, 29,000 was requested, 29,000 was recommended.
Yeah, it's basically the cost of the hydrants and the streetlights.
Okay,
I'm good with it.
everybody okay with that? Health, full-time staff, 801-27-330-110, zero funded for that. Health director, $1,250 recommended, $1,250 requested for the director position.
Who's that? Who's the director of health?
Jean Cavello?
Everybody okay with that? Health, part-time secretary registrar, assuming $2,000 for registrar, $1,702 for secretary to board with 1.5% raise, $3,758 requested, $3,758 recommended. Is everybody okay with that?
Okay.
This Sue and Cornelia? Okay.
Health secretary meeting fees for 5 meetings, $375 was recommended, $375 was requested. Everybody okay with that?
They doing every other month now, Mr. Mayor?
I believe so, yes.
They must be skipping.
Sue, I think, can speak to some of these
Yeah, I
possibly.
mean, this thing, because
It's 5
last year-
meetings, it
Last
says.
year you cut it back from, I think there was scheduled for like 8 and you went down to 5. And they
Well,
just
you
stuck
said
with
they
it.
used to have 10. The
Yeah,
summer
they
was
just stuck
always
with it,
off,
they stayed with it.
and then it was 10, and then.
So this says for 5 meetings. Everybody okay with
There's-
that?
There's really not a need for more than that. Unless
Okay.
there's an emergent issue in there.
So everybody okay with 330, 170? Department of Health office supplies, 600 was requested, 600 was recommended. Everybody okay for that? It's items for town day. I guess those will be handouts, Mr. Mayor?
Well, there'll be, if they want to get a banner.
So this
Yeah.
is small stuff,
Promoted.
but this I think everything that says Town Day should go into the $84,000 reserve we have.
That's different.
This is different.
This is like the Northwest
Yeah.
Regional Health
This is
Commission.
promoting our health commission and,
That's what I thought.
yeah. So it's for Town Day, but it's
Okay.
not, it's for the.
Everybody okay with this?
Ay, ay,
Items for town day for 330, 210. Subscription and books, 10 update, 2 update materials, 300 was requested, 300 was recommended. I guess this came from them, Sue?
Yeah, they want updated material because what we have is very outdated.
Okay.
And we can't get it for free. We've been trying and it's,
Everybody okay with the $300?
Yes.
Mr. Allman?
didn't we, don't we outsource this?
Yes, we do.
So what, I mean, the money is not, I mean, it's nominal, but like, who is getting the benefit of this? Who gets these books?
Probably the director.
well, these
And
aren't
goes
the
to
books.
the-
These are like some of those pamphlets that we can hand out. And we can also use it for Town Day, but it's a different different,
Like the
there's
stuff
like
upstairs on the
flu and,
board?
yeah.
I would think all that's free.
No, we tried, trust me, we tried. Cornelia was online with a lot of
A
people.
lot of that
and-
stuff is not free.
No,
Really?
Yeah, it's a
The
shame.
CDC and
Mm-mm.
NIH
she
and all,
went
they
up and
don't?
down the state, the county, and, nope.
Okay.
Everybody okay with that? 330, 240? Everybody good?
Yes.
And this is a health department recommendation of the board. They'd asked to get new material.
Health dues, meetings, and conferences, 150 was requested, 150 was recommended. They spent about $90 last year. Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Going to page 44, copier expense, I guess.
Nothing is charged
Nothing
to them
needed as no
anymore.
copier is required, so that's a zero delete, right?
They're still using that copier though, right?
No, because it's now in Sue's, the health office is down by the clerk, so they use that one. The one upstairs is just for recreation.
The color one?
Yeah. I mean, other departments can use it, but it's not charged specifically to health.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, here's what the banner is for Town Day. I had the wrong account, sorry.
Health public notices,
Not the handouts.
330, 310, banner for Town Day, $200. Shouldn't they buy their own banner?
No, I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. The banner is for Town Day is Northwest. The other items are the handouts that we give out for Town Day, for the table.
I think
Yeah,
the
two-
idea is
I'm
that,
sorry.
I think the idea was in the past, they come and sit there for,
Yeah,
without
without anything, people just,
compensation, and they're providing a service.
What are your thoughts, gentlemen?
So we're giving, we're giving somebody $200 to sit at a table?
No,
No,
to
this is
buy
the
a banner
banner.
this is the
to
banner. The
tell
other
you
one
who
is the
they are
handouts for the Town Day.
at Town Day.
It's a one-time cost. They
The
need.
banner's a one-time
Northwest
cost.
Bergen Regional. What's that? It's a one-time
one-time
cost.
cost.
Right, for the banner.
Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
That means you're gonna pack it up nicely and,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
So 330, 310, everybody's good with that. All right.
Is
what do
there
we
a
got?
crown for the registrar?
Tiara.
Health consulting non-legal, what is this now?
That
This
is
is-
the outside heart.
That's a contract.
Bergen,
This is Northwest Bergen Regional Health Commission,
Health Commission.
yes.
the health officer.
Health officer and the
NWBRH.
registered environmental health specialist.
Say that 3 times.
No USA.
So this
That's an
is, so this is a
actual number.
contractual number? Okay, everybody okay with 330, 320?
Yes.
Health printing, 200 was requested, 200 was recommended. Everybody okay with that? Health child healthcare, it's an agreement with Hillsdale, 125 is requested, 125 was recommended. Is that a contractual thing?
Yes, and there's possible additional charge if children are seen.
Okay, so everybody okay with the
But there's enough
125?
meat in the other lines that,
It'll
Yeah.
balance, okay. 330, 690, public health nursing, $800 was requested, $800 was recommended.
that's an agreement.
That's an agreement with HARP. Health computer supplies, Unidex software license, reduced actual cost with the discount, 600, which one is it, 610 or 496?
No, they requested the 610, but we paid it on a timely basis, so we actually paid 496,
So we're going to make that 496 then?
It's paid.
That's actual.
And what are we logging with that?
That's what I use for the registrar doing the marriage licenses.
Okay.
Animal control officer, $13,000 was requested, $13,000 was recommended based on the prior year's cost.
No, it says base of 11,400.
Oh, excuse me, based on
plus
the plus
emergencies.
emergencies, so,
Who's that?
is that Tyco?
Okay.
Tyco.
Okay, so that's a contractual
Yeah, the 11.4 is the base, and then you get, you know.
per emergency.
Yeah, every time the police call them on the weekends or nights.
Everybody okay with 340000?
So those the people that when you find the animals, you call up in the street and everything? Or you call the police and the police call them?
Right.
Yeah, hopefully you call during the day and then there's no charge.
Okay. I'll make a note of that.
If a squirrel's limping in your backyard,
Yeah, leave
let it
there.
run off into the,
Yeah.
Tell them to hold off until Monday?
Yeah, till
No,
daylight.
don't even call.
let it limp off into
Okay,
the,
that takes us out of health. We're into recreation. We want to continue, gentlemen?
that's a
Not
big
on
one.
recreation.
Not recreation, nope.
Yeah, I can maybe tell you something else. Or library on page 50, that's a no, that's,
Page 50.
It's 50, my 50, I don't know if it's 50 or 50.
Yes, library starts on the middle of 50, 390, 200,
Let
gentlemen.
me just tell you that the control is the, look at the control amount, that's the 598,068.
Yep.
That's the 1/3 of the mill governed, it's whacked up like this based on Laura Rifkin's recommendation. So it's one of those, you're never gonna go above, you know,
It's the mill. You
Yeah.
can't
So
change that number.
486, 68, 31, and 11 they're all actual and based on Laura's
they're
numbers?
not actuals, they're her best estimate. The
Best
contribution is the plug after the health and the pension. We do a true up at the end, but the bottom line is the control is the control is the
percent, though,
control.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so you
So
don't,
the 598,068 controls.
yeah.
So is everybody okay with line
Yep.
390, 240, 250, 260, and 270?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Mark? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Did we, Bill was here, but did we find out is he plowing?
Yes,
He is, and they're very happy.
Yes, he is, and they're very happy. Because I walked in and asked him.
I asked Patty, Patty said they were plowing.
So prior year,
It was good.
What a shame.
prior year bill finance, you see that we did a lot of cleanup there. So there's nothing, if you want to keep going. Accumulated leave compensation, nothing.
Okay, so hang on a minute.
Where are you, Mayor?
410,
Right below library.
410, yeah.
So 410,000 is nothing, right?
Mm-hmm,
Then you go into 415,000.
nothing. That's been
Nothing.
fully funded.
It's fully funded, yeah.
Are we
Accumulated leave compensation.
That's one of those
Are we overfunded or are we funded
We're
properly?
overfunded.
We're overfunded now?
Yeah, I don't know if we can get the money out. I'm looking into that.
Yeah, okay. Well, then we don't have to put anything in for a while either, right? At one point, we
Hopefully-
had nothing in there. so-
Hopefully never again.
Yeah. Okay.
420,001, holiday celebrations and remembrances. The summer concert series, Memorial Day, 9/11 ceremony, Veterans Day, and holiday tree lighting. Sponsor support expected, funds all from reserve.
Yeah, so we say zero here, right? 'Cause you're
No,
gonna-
no, well, what you do is you see the reserve money coming in to the, on the revenue side.
Yeah, but doesn't this get shown as an appropriation that we then tax people on?
Yes, however, this is the issue. You've got to, and we've got to figure out if we can take it out of the reserve. This is one I would say
Let's
we
flag
should.
this.
Let flag this, because the reason
needs to be
being, when,
flagged.
when we did this, when Peter and I were doing this, the idea was also,
So same thing for Town Day, we got to flag that also because we don't know if it's coming from the reserve or not.
exactly. And the other
So
thing is.
420,001 and 002 is going to be flagged and held for,
You want to watch yourself if you start taking out items in your budget that you're going to have to pick up down the road, because then you're going to have a big hole in your budget down the road when you
Correct.
stop having that source. So you have to wean yourself, use those over time and not one hit.
Yeah, but this is where I disagree respectfully.
Okay, I mean, it's your decision.
No, well, because every year, we budget all this money, and we budget 28,000 or 22,000 for Town Day, and we tax the taxpayer, and then we sit with an $84,000 reserve.
Well, that was under, we know it's all changing.
Yeah, I know it's all changed, but again, I don't think this is like, well, let's take 20 or 10 and taxpayer 10. I mean, there's $84,000. This stuff will go on for eternity. So my feeling is, we use the money, and then next year, we've been budgeting this amount year after year after year after year, never using the reserve. So to take 20 and leave 60, what's the sense?
so Bob, what they said at the league meeting we had was, let's just say you take the 20 out of the reserve and now you make this item zero, right? You reduce your overall need in the budget, right, by $22,000. Next year, you still have that reserve to play around with, but in year 4, you've now not funded that for 4 years. Your budget's gone down by that amount all those years, and now you add it.
Yeah,
But now you add that number to the budget, and it puts you either over the 2% cap, or it puts you in the ability
this
to
is-
not raise it because you're gonna be above caps and all.
Mike, we've been.
I understand what you're saying, but
No, we've been funding this line since I've been here. We've had 84,000 sitting on the balance sheet in some cash account, doing nothing. So what I'm saying is, when we do Town Day, there's no different in 4 years from now than there is from today. Because you gotta fund the Town Day, beginning from day one, which we did 30 years ago.
But once you take the money out of the budget
It's out of the total
It's
number.
out of the total number, it reduces, so let's just say, there's lots of money in the reserve. So let's just say we took $1 million out of reserve and we buy, and we take out a bunch of line items, right? Now we reduce our overall budget by $1 million. Getting that $1 million is gonna be almost impossible because of the 2% cap the next year, because you've reduced all those to zero.
This is $80,000.
I understand what you're saying, but once you reduce something,
Okay, so again, this is
I-
$80,000.
And that's what Ashley's recommending also, I think.
I think we need to have Ashley and Lou May come here and
Yeah,
ask,
because-
I guess the real question is, how do we get this money out of reserve and put it into our general surplus?
Let me ask
Because I guess that's the $68,000 question.
Ashley had said, and Peter and I brought this up, and we talked about it,
'Cause
and
this
we all
money
came
can't
up with
sit there
5
forever.
years, but, yeah, that was 5 years. She agreed that
Yeah,
5-year
but
drawdown.
listen, I'm all for it, I understand the concept. You know, you have $1 million that we don't want to take out of the school fund, dump in here.
Bob's point
on
is
our own.
you're taxing the taxpayer.
But
against
Twice.
the same-
there's
same
certain
costs.
amounts you can take out that's not going to impact any cap or any number 5 years down the road from now.
Well, there's
Impossible.
items inside the cap and outside the cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think,
Okay? So you have to make sure
Discern which one's which.
which is the one to.
I understand that, but
Yeah.
I'm saying this is an $80,000, we're taking out $40,000, and this is not gonna affect anything down the road. You take $1 million
Absolutely.
out of our middle school fund, well, that's cash, that's a different story.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a big number. You can take some of that, you can put it into capital, you can put it, a cushion into your capital improvement funds, that you can do, but this money's been sitting on the balance sheet for
Right,
years and years.
right.
Well, I've listened
Well,
to-
a lot of times they think, that they recommend that you do it towards a one-hit wonder, like you,
No, you
if you're
don't wanna
pulling
do
it,
it.
no, you do it for something that you'll never have to do
do again,
again.
yes.
Like an improvement at a park.
Yes.
Or something that you're, so you're gonna get, so that, don't use it to defray your budget, your normal budget expenses, use it for something
Don't do
special.
for recurrent
Yeah, exactly.
You can't do it for a recurring cost,
Something
yes.
that it's a one-shot deal, it's done, and then it brings your whole budget down anyway.
Yes.
And you'll never go back up past that too, because.
But I guess my main concern is that I've been listening to Mr. Bruno now for two years plus, asking how to get this money out of the budget.
Yeah.
And I think we really need to,
Well, let's bring Lou in.
we need to bring Lou in and find out how to get this money out, Mr. Bruno. Is that, I've been listening to you for 2 years, ask for the same thing. I know you have, and
the
I agree with you.
schedules. We've asked Ashley 2 years ago, well, we can't talk about, but
I know.
anyway.
Let's
So
talk
we
to
got
Mr.
a- we
May
got a
and,
piece of it, you know,
and,
the thing that bothers me a little bit is that when we had the wipe off a grant that we got stuck with,
I know.
you know, these things got wiped out in 2
in a
weeks.
heartbeat, yeah.
So all I'm saying is, there's money there. We obviously are gonna be prudent with what we take out. We're not gonna strip the whole thing,
No.
but we have to know what we can and cannot strip, because to sit with 163,000 in capital, old ordinances again, and 100 for the school, and 50 for refund, I personally think these things are made up. They put money in there, I don't think there's any riders for most of them, my opinion.
Right
Some
there.
yes, some no, but, you know. so
There's a whole page, I just
Okay.
sat here multitasking, I'm gonna ask Sue's office to pull the resolutions. I'm gonna start the project, create another binder,
Okay.
and where I'm gonna have the rider, what it says it's for, the ledger sheets, and figure out what's not restrained by a rider.
But I
and then
guess,
figure
how do
it
we-
out.
Back to Lou and Ashley and see where they.
Yeah, I guess the question is, if it does have a rider, and that money is sitting there and it's a substantial amount,
How
who
do
do
we
we
get
need to
out?
talk to get rid of that rider? Because that money has been encumbered, like you said, there's 1985 ordinances sitting out there with money encumbered, that's been paid off for years, and how do we get that money back into
Well,
our reserve? you know?
Well, I
Something
spoke to Ashley today on my way out about this very subject, and she suggested asking Lou if it has to be canceled or whatever it has to be done. So I will do some of the groundwork, and we'll work to see and figure out when he can come to a meeting.
Yeah, I just.
We won't
don't
make
think-
it Saturday since you won't be
We
here.
we can't complete the budget process until we sit here with a number that says, this is what we can do, this is what we can't do, and if we can do it, this is what we will do and
Right.
vote on it.
Yeah.
That's
Change
it.
a lot of these numbers that we just went over.
Yeah, it changed a lot of stuff. you
Yeah,
know?
and even last year, you tried to do it, and I was told not to charge anything to the reserve.
understand.
No, you know what I'm saying is, so
I
this
know.
is the first
I-
opportunity we've
I
had to
get it.
really do it.
I know.
Let's take advantage of the opportunity.
But Mary Ann, I don't think we knew about these riders until last week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so,
Well, can I make a suggestion?
We
It
don't
seems
want to
like-
double tax the citizens again,
no.
and that's our goal.
That's the goal to
As
keep
possible.
in
That's the goal.
2018 for this
Keep
years
it
budget.
As low as possible,
good
get the
motion.
services we need and deserve,
Yeah.
taxpayers.
I mean, the
paying
big
a lot of
decision we
money.
have to make is there's $1 million sitting from the school fund for 15, 20 years,
30 years,
30 years, whatever it is,
30 years.
sitting there, and so what do? We let it sit there again?
Well, I hope the mayor has some fire trucks in his,
Well, actually,
Mind.
what I said to John from Pascat Crescent is just, I'd like to use that money to help defray the cost of the new middle school expansion, since it came from a school.
I agree with you 100%, Mr. Mayor. That's where it should
Yeah,
go. We
right.
took it from the-
It's a
we
shame
took
it's
it from
that
the-
so long.
We took it from the children
Right.
from a school sale. It should
Yeah.
go back to the children
Right.
for school.
Yeah.
And whether it goes for a school
Or
or
a
to
field.
get a field that maybe
Right.
the township and Westwood High School could use, that would be the best spent money ever. It goes back to its origin,
Right.
where we derived it from. I mean, I would love, if I was in your position, Mr. Mayor, I would say, Westwood
Yeah.
Regional Schools, we have $1 million, turf another one of your fields and let us use it when you're not using it. That would solve two problems. One, we get it off the balance sheet, we get to use it, the way it was appropriated for it, and we get benefit. Everyone benefits that way. Turf a field that they have, we get to use it, everyone will be happy. I don't think anyone would be.
one of the things to look at, Mr. Mayor, is
Negatively with
the
that
soccer
role.
field at Westwood High School was never turfed. It's got brand-new Musco lights on
Well,
it.
that's where we thought.
That's what a lot of people have thrown that out at me,
That's
and I hope
why I'm doing
you
it.
take that
That would
2-second,
be-
2-second,
Happy to look into it.
Yeah.
That would be a great.
because they replaced all the lights, but they left the natural grass there because they.
Well, I think we have to find out what we can take and not take, and then make decisions.
Could I get a motion to adjourn, gentlemen?
So
Aye, aye.